Husky Stadium in Seattle, Washington. A capacity crowd filled with purple and gold and crimson and gray to see the 1989 Apple Cup game between the Huskies and the Cougars. Not a lot of liking from either side this weekend, Woody. Both want to beat the other, and badly.
This game can divide a family, Keith. Man against wife, brother against sister.
And here come the Washington State Cougars. Led by Mike Price, his team comes out of the tunnel first. They'll be followed by the Washington Huskies. The captains are about set to meet at midfield. And there you see a smattering of the purple and gold. And there's a Wazoo cap or two in there. Washington State's captains moving toward the center of the field. John Husby, Dan Grayson, Tony Savage, Tim Stallworth, all seniors. Washington's captains, Kerry Conklin, Andre Riley, Dennis Brown, Martin Harrison, and the remaining seniors, 18 of them for the Washington Huskies, honorary co-captains today. And they're out to hear how things go at midfield as well. Ken, what do you normally like to do as a coach in this situation?
Usually you're about getting ready to throw up. You know, this is a culmination, oftentimes it's a culmination of years of hard work. You work very hard to recruit kids, to get you in a position to play the Huskies for a bowl game. On the Husky side, they're trying to show people that mid-season slump they had is a thing of the past.
Washington State will receive the opening kickoff. The Washington Huskies march onto the field with the gold pom-poms flying, and sunshine has arrived as well, and isn't that a surprise? The first time in about a decade that this game's been blessed with the big bright spot out in left center field, if you will.
Last time the bright spot was out in left center field, there was about 7 inches of snow around the side of this track.
That was 1985. It was one cold afternoon, and Washington State was victorious on that day. An emotional game. Emotions run high in cross-state rivalries. This one no different, particularly if you grew up on one side of the state and chose to go to school on the other.
Every year I get, letters, phone calls, from people that still want me to go to Washington State. I've never been a Cougar fan. I never will be. I'm just, this is the biggest game of my career, my athletic career. I've always looked forward to the Wazoo game my senior year. Point spreads, underdog, favorite, it doesn't matter to me. And I think especially for the Apple Cup is important because I think each team just kind of plays above their level. Everybody wants to pace the other one's colors.
If you're looking at key players in today's games, one has to look at a guy like Greg Lewis, and one has to look at a gentleman like Steve Broussard.
These two guys are the best running backs in the Pac-10, and they're a lot more than just running backs. They catch the ball, they do something with it as pass receivers. They're a vital part of this one-back offense.
Number 1 and number 2 in all-purpose running in this conference, and boy, you got to imagine his stomach's doing some somersaults right now.
Well, they say if you aren't scared and you aren't excited, that takes some of the fun out of it, so we'll sit back and have some fun here, Keith.
The Cougars won last year, but the Huskies lead this series in the 80s, and they lead it overall as well. Steve Broussard is deep to receive, along with Chambé Wright-Fair, and John McCallum is set to tee it up for the Washington Huskies.
There should be a return here. There's only been 4 kickoffs not returned this year. Cougars looking for a return.
McCallum kicks off. It'll be Chambé Wright-Fair from his own 8-yard line. Fair out to the 27. Washington State will go to work there, 1st and 10. On their first drive of the game, Dana Hall made the tackle for the Huskies.
Coming into this game, Keith, Mike Price indicated that he thought the Cougars had a real good shot at breaking a kickoff return. Here's their starting quarterback, Brad Gosson. Only thrown 2 interceptions, 8 touchdowns on the year. Offensive line averages 6'4", 270.
Washington State starting 1st and 10 from their own 27. Brad Gossin at quarterback. Paul Carr in the backfield along with Steve Broussard. They'll pass, intercepted. Eric Briscoe has the football and dances into the end zone for a touchdown.
Stark contrast right there, Keith. Eric Briscoe's 3rd interception of the year. Junior from New Jersey. Brad Gossin throws off his back foot a little bit. Apparently never saw Eric Briscoe. That's not a good way to start a football game.
John McCallum on to kick the extra point out of the hold of Kerry Conklin. It is good. The Washington Huskies, without even putting their offense on the field, have taken a 7-0 lead over their cross-state rivals from Washington State.
There's the play again. You see Gossin step back. He did throw off his back foot, didn't really step up in the pocket like the coach would like him to. Had he done that, maybe he might have seen Briscoe. Obviously did not see him. Terrible way to get an offensive drive set up. Defense is struggling, and they're 7 points down without even being on a field.
35-yard interception return for the touchdown. That's the 2nd time this year the Huskies have done that. Lila Lang returned an interception 87 yards against the California Golden Bears for a touchdown. Brad Gossin will have to shake it now and get back to work.
One of Brad's great strengths is his ability to stay cool under pressure and slough off the little things. I thought last week against California, he showed a little more emotion than he had in the past. Obviously, this is a big test for him, and I guess it might as well come right at the beginning of the game. We'll see what Brad Gossin is made of. I'm sure Mike Price has got all the confidence in the world in him.
Rich Swinton is deep to receive for the Cougars this time, along with Steve Broussard. Washington leading 7-0. 14:46 to play in the 1st quarter as the Huskies intercept the Cougars' opening pass and return it for a score. Broussard, they'll have to cover it up. Broussard will bring it out from his own 1. Out of bounds at the 9-yard line, and things aren't starting well for the Cougars.
Tough bounce for Steve there. He looked like he thought it might go in the end zone, but it did not. Good job of getting to the wide side of the field. Looked like he might have been held inside the 1-yard line. Got that on speed. Here's the Washington defensive line.
Dennis Brown back in the lineup, played well last week. Cook and Richardson. Harrison, a senior. He'll play across the line of scrimmage from John Husby, a former high school teammate of his, and there's the secondary, which produced 7 points.
1 turnover so far.
Broussard out to the 16-yard line. A gain of 7 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 3 for the Cougars, so their second offensive play much better than their first.
Mike Price would like Broussard to have his hands on the ball 40 or more times today, pass and run.
Marty Harrison, Husky co-captain, made the tackle. Broussard the single setback. Carr in the game as well. James Clifford meets Broussard in the backfield. A loss of 2 yards on the play.
The sophomore from Ingram High School is the leading tackler in the Pac-10 right now. He now has 131 on the season. Cougars are going to be going to some 2-back here in an effort to generate some offense, not depend on their wide receivers. Not much there. Excellent job by Clifford and Harrison. Like Donald Jones was in there as well.
C.J. Davis and Calvin Griggs go wide to the right. 2 tight ends in the game, and Broussard the lone setback on 3rd down. Gossin passing. Complete to Rod Olson. Fumbles out of bounds.
Well, There was some confusion in the Huskies secondary there. One of the defensive backs had lined up on the wrong side of the field. I'm not sure they were expecting that formation.
Olsen danced out of bounds very near the first down. It'll be a matter of where the officials spot the football. And they're going to measure this time as Gosson looks to the sideline to get the next play.
Well, I'm sure that heart rates are really pounding down there. They're saying that the ball will be spotted at the point of the fumble, not where the ball went out of bounds.
So as they stretch the change, the Cougars are going to be just a bit short. They'll face their first 4th down situation of the day. Mike Price's team has lost 3 in a row. Washington has won 4 of its past 5 games, including a resounding 51-14 victory over Oregon State last week, and it appears that Mike Price is going to go for it.
And the Cougars so far in the season are 7 for 9 in 4th down. The big play here.
Percentages are with them. They need to get to the 20-yard line, or just actually shy of it, a few inches for a first down. Broussard in the backfield. Gosson sneaking, and he earns the first down. And the Cougars keep their drive alive and convert on another 4th down opportunity.
I'll tell you, there better be some heart specialists on hand if they're going to play it this way, Keith. Last week, Mike Price did the same thing, nearly in the very same part of the field against the Cal Bears. He's got a lot of faith in his front offensive line and Brad Gosson's ability to find an open space.
Paul Wolf is playing today at center. He had an appendectomy 3 weeks ago. Didn't think he'd return this season, but he started today's game. Wolf set to snap. Carr in motion. Big blitz coming. James Clifford with the sack.
Huskies brought 3 people off the weak side that time with only 2 blockers. Right now they're overloading to one side or another, and as you can see, Clifford's coming in without anybody laying a hand on him. This is the 2nd time.
James Clifford, the leading tackler in the Pacific 10 Conference. Just a sophomore.
Coach Price had indicated before the game that he had hoped to get the ball to Broussard, particularly in blitz situations. They have, you see Clifford is coming in there. There's a gap between Husby and Mike Smith there. Quarterback is responsible for seeing that. Really not much you can do there.
There was a procedure penalty. The Huskies decline. A loss of 8 creates a 2nd and 18 situation. Here's Broussard, and he's wrapped up and dropped after a gain of about 1 yard.
Right now, the Cougars are having a hard time finding where Clifford's going to line up. He's lined up in 3 different spots. They're having a hard time getting him blocked.
Martin Harrison made the tackle. The senior from Bellevue's Newport High School. 3rd and 17 situation. Washington leads 7-0. 12 minutes to play here in the first quarter. Eric Briscoe, a 35-yard interception return for the Huskies touchdown. Gosson passing. Over the middle, he was hit just as he threw the ball, and Ron Olsen has it at midfield. Olsen to the 41-yard line. Cougar first down, but a penalty flag is resting back at the 12-yard line.
Great job by Brad Gosson of getting that football thrown. It's going to be brought back, though.
Holding against Washington State.
I think the hold was on the right tackle. Garman ran his player right by Gosson as he was throwing. Might have got his hands extended away from his body.
Pat Flood is our referee today. Mike Price seeing his offense struggle in the early going.
Offense.
If the Cougars were going to get tested early, every other play is a test. Nice job by Gosson of seeing the blitz and getting the ball off.
A great frustration for Mike Price. His football team backed up to the 6-yard line now.
3rd down, 24 yards to go.
It'll be 3rd down and a country mile. They're used to covering that. They've done it on several occasions this year. Single setback is Broussard. They'll run. Broussard tripped up before he reaches the line of scrimmage. And it'll be 4th down. Martin Harrison there for the Huskies. He's having a big day so far, along with Dennis Brown.
Martin Harrison is the second leading tackler on the Huskies this year with 85. 16 of those have come for losses. Definitely a big play player in the Husky defensive scheme.
A loss of 1 on the play, 4th and 25, and here's the Pac-10 second leading punter, Rob Myers, averaging just over 44 yards per kick. Huskies should get outstanding field position.
Cougars lead the Pac-10 in net punt, 41-4, second in the nation.
And not a very good punt from Myers. It takes a bounce. Charles Mincy inside the 35-yard line to the 33, and that's where Washington's offense will go to work 1st and 10 when we return to Husky Stadium in Seattle.
He returns to the left yard.
Sunshine. Make your own good time. Yeah, life's too fine to waste it. You got to live it, feel it, taste it. The only beer to drink round here is rain.
Okay, you're trying to decide between the Jeep Cherokee and the Isuzu Trooper. Let's weigh the facts, shall we? The Isuzu Trooper comes standard with 4-wheel disc brakes and triple skid plates, more cargo space, a larger fuel tank, and more headroom. Oh, and one more thing. The Isuzu Trooper costs about $1,000 less.
Right now, you can save big bucks on the Trooper during Isuzu's Take It to the Bank sale.
The Washington Huskies offense will take the field for the first time today, and they already have 7 points. The defense produced those. Eric Briscoe, a 35-yard interception return for the score. Washington a touchdown advantage. And here's Kerry Conklin for the first time today on 1st and 10. It goes to Lewis. Lewis for a gain of about a yard. It'll be 2nd and 9. Dan Grayson made the tackle.
Huskies' offensive line is a big one, as usual. 6'3 and a half, 286. Going up against the Cougs at 6'4", 265. Vern Bostic, considered the best center in the Pac-10 right now. Offensive backs, Conklin, Lewis, Turner, McKay. Keep your eye on Riley in 3rd down. He's usually good for a 1st down.
Darius Turner starting in the place of injured James Compton. The pass complete to Orlando McKay. At the 28-yard line, Michael Wright brought him down.
Washington State's defensive line, 6'4", 265. Gray, Downing, Savage, and Brown. Brown has not had a sack since a USC game. 3 outstanding linebackers. Leading tackler for the Cougs, Grayson. Defensive secondary has given up a lot of big plays lately. Last play, the Cougars brought 7, Keith. They're going to try to get pressure on Conklin all day long.
3rd and 3. They spotted at the 26-yard line. 3 receivers to the right for the Huskies. Conklin, pass intercepted by Washington State. Andre Riley couldn't find the handle, and the Cougars come up with their first big play. It's Alvin Dunn.
It's Alvin's 3rd interception of the year, and it couldn't have happened at a more opportune time. Pretty good pressure by the up front people. Conklin. Anytime you get your hand up, it helps. That ball was just a little bit too hard to handle. Heads-up play by the Cougars. You see 5 people going for the football. That's what the offense has got to have right now, Keith, the defense to bail them out of a jam.
Cougars start 1st and 10 from their own 16-yard line. They have 2 backs in the backfield once again, Carr and Broussard. C.J. Davis, Calvin Briggs wide to the right. Under pressure, Dawson escapes. He'll run. Gosson out to the 19-yard line for a gain of 3 before Jaime Fields wrapped him up.
The Huskies are pressuring and collapsing the pocket very well. If Gosson had been able to step up and look to his left, he might have seen Doug Wellsand totally uncovered. Good pressure here by Dennis Brown. He's back to being his explosive self. Right now, Gosson's just running for his life.
The Cougars still deep in their own territory. That a 3-yard gain to create a 2nd and 7 situation now. Their own 19. 8:51 to play. First quarter, you can see the flak jacket Brad Gosson is wearing, but more important to him probably is that hand. And the Cougars are going to have to call timeout because of an equipment problem. His shoulder pads are not holding down. What an inopportune time to waste a timeout. 8:43 to play, first quarter. Washington leading Washington State 7-0.
Listen to this forever.
Hang on. It's a sci-fi doubleheader.
Wow!
Hit me with your best shot.
Tuesday at 8, Anthony Michael Hall creates the ultimate fantasy girl in Weird Science. Then on Wednesday, Steven Spielberg creates the ultimate tale of horror in Poltergeist. It's a sci-fi doubleheader starting Tuesday on Channel 13.
The stadium record is 74,038. It only seats 72,500. That stadium record was set back in the '87 Apple Cup game. They may eclipse that mark here at Husky Stadium this afternoon. There's the Cougar marching band. Cougars with the football, 2nd and 7. From their own 19 after the timeout. Broussard, the lone setback. Gosson will pass. Incomplete. The intended receiver was the tight end, Doug Wellsand.
Right now, it looks like the Huskies are jumping around and giving Brad a lot of looks. As a coach, you kind of want to avoid your quarterback doing a lot of checking in those situations. Noise is a problem. Brad sets up. He's looking for Wellsand. Deeper behind him, Stallworth looked like he had some open room. Throw needed to be a little bit lower. That's kind of a rib cage shot there.
C.J. Davis, Calvin Briggs, the receivers this time, and Broussard in the backfield. On 3rd down. Penalty flag. Gosson's wrapped up and dropped. David Hoffman, Marty Harrison, there along with James Clifford.
Dennis Brown may not have been on that tackle, but he helped set it up. It's taken 2 people to block him right now.
The penalty is against Washington.
Indication of offside against the Huskies.
Actually, that was a nice job by Garman there on Brown. Brown weighs 300 pounds. Garman's been bothered by a bad shoulder the last couple weeks.
Offside on the defense. Repeat 3rd down.
And so it'll be a 3rd and 2 situation for the Cougars. For the football at the 19-yard line. Actually, the 24-yard line.
Well, the one thing about this, the penalties, the equipment timeout, and so on, they all have helped kind of get the tempo of the game back under control for the Cougars because it was sliding out of control fast.
After the interception return for the score by Eric Briscoe at 35 yards, which has given Washington their 7-0 lead here in the first quarter. 2 receivers to the short side of the field. Broussard for the first down, or very near it, depending upon the spot. He needed 2 yards. And I suspect we'll see a measurement. Marty Harrison made the stop.
Pretty good movement up front by Husby, Paul Wolf, Mike Smith. Cougar offensive line averages 270 pounds. Husky defensive line, 261. Although the Husky defensive line is much quicker than the Cougar offensive line, Keith.
Cougars are short once again, and they've already gone for it once today, Ken Woody. Might Coach Price try to do it again?
You know, I still have some of the old coaching blood in me, and I just sit here getting butterflies thinking of making that decision. Not only once, but twice. The thing about it, if you make it, it's great. If you don't, you're giving Washington a great opportunity to just roll down the hill on top of you.
Well, they get at least 3 points out of the situation with John McCallum's leg, but it is 4th and 1, and Washington State must run its play first. They have 2 wide receivers to the right, and Broussard in the backfield. Gosson inching forward. Depending upon the spot, it'll be very close to the first down.
Well, the other tough thing about a play like this, you may, in fact, get it, but you still are very susceptible to where the officials spot it.
True enough. It looks, though, this time it will be a first down, and indeed it is. And so the Cougars are successful again on 4th and short yardage.
Cougars showing a lot of grit right now. Huskies will be content for this kind of ground gains, though. They have not been able to even get close to the 30-yard line so far.
1st and 10, Cougars. Ball at the 27-yard line. Broussard. Out of bounds at the 23-yard line. Escorted out of bounds by Lilo Lang. Lilo Lang and Steve Broussard played against one another in high school. Lang at Jordan High in Los Angeles, Broussard at Manual Arts, and both have a great deal of respect and admiration for one another. This guy played linebacker in high school, and Lilo Lang played quarterback, so they were on the opposite side of the ball in high school, getting after one another as well.
It all leads to some good football. Broussard did a nice job of avoiding contact there. He's actually been thrown for a lot of yards, over 100 yards in losses this year.
Loss of 3 on that play. Lots of pressure from the backside. The Huskies get the Gosson again. Jaime Fields was there. Donald Jones was there. And the Huskies are stifling Washington State's potent offense.
Huskies' quickness up front right now is very indicative of what's going on. Cougar offensive line has given up a lot of sacks this year, but right now they look a little bit more confused.
3rd and 19 after Jaime Fields got in to make the stop. The redshirt freshman from Linwood, California.
2nd fastest player in the Husky defense.
Long way to go to pick up the first down for the Cougars. Swinton and Broussard to the backs. They give to Broussard, and he has running room. Broussard still on his feet, out to the 31-yard line. Shy of the first down, but the Cougars have their longest gain of the day. Lilo Lang made the tackle.
There's a situation where the Cougars gave the ball to Steve Broussard in a blitz situation. Big numbers there, Keith. Probably the most explosive player we've seen in the Pac-10 in several years. Great, great acceleration.
Charles Mincy standing back at his own 35-yard line, awaiting the punt of Rob Myers. Low snap. Mincy will have a return from his own 39, and he's met immediately. 6:03 to play, first quarter. Washington out in front of Washington State, and you're watching Apple Cup 89.
In the world of sporty imports, there was Toyota, then Honda. But today, there's something new, Geo Storm. It's going to hit with an aggressive stance, an eager multi-port fuel-injected engine, and 4-wheel independent suspension. Get to know the new Geo Storm. It's rolling in now, and it's just around the corner at your Chevrolet Geo dealers.
Oh, well, you can't tell now, but it'll look just like this when we're done. I found the perfect paper, the perfect color, and just look at these cabinets. Finally, the kitchen I've always wanted.
Right now at Fred Meyer, save on Spectrum mini blinds. They're custom cut in the store to fit your windows. Available in a beautiful array of designer colors. And save on a great selection of solid hardwood Whittier furniture. You can finish it to match your decor.
Brad Myers is averaging 44 yards a punt, but when you have to field the ball off the ground, obviously that affects your average. He's not been anywhere near that so far today. Good coverage by the cover team, though, kept the Huskies from getting near midfield.
Huskies will start 1st and 10 from their own 39. Their first offensive series resulted in a turnover. The interception by Alvin Dunn when the Huskies were deep in Cougar territory. Lewis, the lone setback, and Conklin will pass through the blitz. Pass is complete to Bill Ames, and he's at the midfield. Fumbles! They're going to say the ground caused the fumble. Washington retains possession at midfield.
One thing the Cougar defensive coaches told me Thursday, Keith, is they felt that Conklin had a great arm, a rifle, but he had a slow release. In this situation, his release looks very quick to me. He's able to unload the ball before Ledbetter and Grayson gets there. Without, Ames almost breaks it for the long one.
Michael Wright made the tackle. 1st and 10 from midfield for the Huskies. Riley and Orlando McKay now. Greg Lewis to the left. Darius Turner the back. He has the football. Down to the 47-yard line for a gain of 3. Tony Savage was the first one there.
Although the Cougar defensive forte so far has been their rush defense, Mike Zimmer told me that he felt they were really worried about the rush. Greg Lewis is really an outstanding running threat, and the Huskies have an outstanding fullback as well.
3 receivers wide to the left again, and Lewis is the lone running back for the Huskies. On 2nd down, option game. It's Lewis with lots of room. He's down the sideline. Lewis out of bounds at the 18-yard line, and another Husky first down. John Diggs pushed him out of bounds.
There are 2 ways of beating the blitz. You can check off and throw to a wide receiver. You can run an option play to an outstanding back with great speed. Everybody's one-on-one. Ames is blocking the man who's responsible for covering that pitch, Michael Wright. Result is obvious.
28-yard gain for Greg Lewis. He's just gone over the 1,000-yard mark for the season. Becomes the 4th Husky rusher to do so. He's also eclipsed Ron Rowland's mark and moves into 3rd on the all-time Husky rushing list. Here's Lewis with room again down to the 10-yard line. A good first down play for the Washington Huskies. Chris Moton was their first.
Huskies showing a lot of versatility. They've mixed up their formations. They've mixed up the people who have caught the ball. So far, Conklin's shown an ability to avoid the rush and get the ball off. All these things working to the Huskies' advantage and kind of jeopardizing the Cougars' defensive game plan.
John James' team wants to return to bowl action. They were at home for the holidays last year, and there's Greg Lewis. On 2nd and 2, Conklin will keep, and he is very near the first down.
Greg Lewis is now over 1,000 yards, Keith.
Ed Cunningham hobbling a bit on that offensive line for the Washington Huskies. Appears to be favoring a shoulder, but remains in the lineup.
Several of the Husky offensive linemen have been bothered with bad shoulders. Coach Gilbertson was telling us that he tells his kids they substitute when the throbbing subsides and you stop moaning, then it's your turn to go back on the field. They've been a banged-up group.
Keith Gilbertson has brought a refreshing change to the offensive line, particularly their emotional state. Really has them playing well this year. Conklin sneaks. Conklin keeping the ball. And he should have the first down. A host of Cougar tacklers there.
Well, the one thing I think the offensive line influenced by Gilbertson, that evidently the Huskies are doing fewer things this year, but doing them better. And as a result, when you watch them on film, it actually looks like they've got a lot more schemes than they actually do. Doing a nice job of coaching and executing.
It'll be 1st and goal after the first down dive by Kerry Conklin. And Mike Price is showing a bit of frustration on that Cougar sideline.
Cougars had to play some great goal line defense last year in their win. Obviously, if they're going to compete this year, they're going to have to suck it up down here, too.
High formation, Turner and Lewis. The backs fumble, Washington State recovers, and for the second time, the Cougars have denied the Huskies near their goal line. Mark Ledbetter recovered, but that was more a product of an offensive mistake.
Right, there was just a miscue with the handoff, not a product of a hit. But that's good defense when you have people who are alert and ready to get the ball. Oh, Conklin catches his foot as he backs out. Probably should not have tried to complete the handoff. That's a case where you just like to take the sack. Whether you had made the first down or not, you'd still have a chance for 3.
That's not the first time this season there have been exchange problems between Vern Grostek and Kerry Conklin.
That's right. The Husky coaches told us that one of their biggest liabilities has been their penchant for turnovers early on.
Gosson will pass from his own end zone. Going long, he has a receiver, intercepted. Eugene Burkhalter at the 49-yard line. And turnovers are the play of the day right now.
Right now, that's Burkhalter's 5th interception of the year. Great job of playing center field, judging the football. He had C.J. Davis covered all the way. I think Gosson just kind of forced that ball. It's almost as if he's trying to make something happen. Brad Gosson's strength is being able to see the whole field, dink it to an available receiver. Right now, he's trying to make something of a situation that is not there. Huskies right there. Good field position.
1st and 10 from the Cougar 47-yard line, and Washington will pass. In and out of the hands of Orlando McKay, and incomplete. And again, the Cougar defense back on the field. They've been on the field most of the first quarter.
Well, pretty good pressure there. Good protection by the Huskies. That was an example of where Conklin's arm strength may work against him. Anytime you throw the ball real hard and you put it above the receiver's head, it's going to be difficult to catch, especially on a chilly day like today.
Aaron Garcia is warming up along the Cougar sideline now. It's not known whether Mike Price will make a quarterback change, but this game is for all the marbles. A bowl game rests on the outcome. Conklin escapes trouble again and is finally wrapped up and dropped back at the Washington 43-yard line.
Penalty flag down, Keith. Not sure what the call's going to be. Cougars brought 8 that time. 8 rushers. Leaves you very susceptible on the outside, man-to-man.
The flag is in the defensive backfield, in the area where pass interference is normally found. Holding against Washington State, so the sack goes for naught.
This is a very costly penalty. The Cougars have had 30 more penalties this year than the Huskies.
10 yards from the previous spot. Give me a first down.
But again, when you leave your people man-to-man in the secondary against dangerous people, they resort to those kinds of things to get their people covered. That's a big penalty.
And it erases.
It's about a 30-yard swing.
It really is. It erases a 8-yard sack and gives the Huskies the football. 1st and 10 at the Cougar 37-yard line.
That's really a foolish penalty.
You don't win football games when you make those kind of mistakes. Darius Turner, the fullback, and this is Greg Lewis to the 31-yard line. Lewis dropped by Dan Grayson and Alvin Dunn.
It's a little ironic the Huskies using the option against the Cougars, but as we've said before, it is an excellent way of contending with a team that's trying to pressure you. They're going man-to-man on the outside. What you try to do is block the man responsible who's covering Greg Lewis there. That was Chris Moton. Creates a lot of seams. You're the defensive coach. You're saying we better play some more zone defense here.
6-yard gain. It'll be 2nd and 4. Conklin looking for Orlando McKay. It's complete. McKay inside the 20, down to the 18-yard line. Dropped by Roosevelt Noble. A 12-yard gain and another Husky first down.
McKay, just one of the fine sophomore wide receivers, along with Mario Bailey from Franklin High School. A little chilly up here and my lips are clattering.
Well, no wonder you didn't get him when you recruited him. You couldn't pronounce his name.
Tried to find out his name. By the time I figured it out, the Huskies had him signed.
On first down, Lewis bulldozing forward inside the 15-yard line to the 13. A 5-yard gain for Greg Lewis. Grayson made the tackle. He's the 5th leading tackler in the Pac-10 this year, averaging 12 a game.
Well, field position affords an offense a chance to really mix it up. And right now, the Huskies are showing a nice blend of inside running, little option, some pass.
Lewis, 5 carries for 49 yards, inching his way up the career rushing ladder. He's met and dropped in the backfield this time. Kirk Westerfield was there. The redshirt sophomore from Benton City.
Very opportune time to get his 14th tackle of the year. Kirk plays behind Randy Gray normally.
A penalty flag on the play, and the Cougars are offside.
Self-destruction is a term that comes to mind, Keith.
Offside on the defense. Repeat, second down. Second and short.
That's 3 situations now where the Cougars have had penalties that have brought back big plays or stopped big plays.
Second and 1 after the 5-yard penalty. Puts the ball near the 8-yard line of Washington State. And the Huskies will try to earn the first down here.
They're not allowing themselves any chance to get any momentum.
Lewis has the first down and more. Dan Weber made the tackle, the junior from Bellevue's East Side Catholic. A lot of local products playing at Husky Stadium. Many of the Cougars were anxious to play before some of their friends and family who live here in the Seattle area.
Well, whether you end up at Washington or Washington State, I think it's everybody's dream at one time or another to play in this stadium on one side of the field or another, and it's a big thrill to come out that tunnel and do combat on the football field.
Well, particularly when it means so much. The winner of this game goes to the Freedom Bowl in Anaheim. Conklin keeping to the 4-yard line where he's met with a thunderous crash. Dan Grayson put the pop on Kerry Conklin.
Grayson is a leading tackler for the Cougars. He's 5th in the Pac-10. Came in with 120 tackles. You're going to see Lewis Bush almost run Conklin down from behind. Flattens out. Good block by Bill Ames there on Marlon Brown. You see Dan Grayson lowers his shoulder and Conklin goes no further.
And this will be the final play of the first quarter. Darius Turner met at the line of scrimmage as the first period comes to an end. The Washington Huskies, the strength of a 35-yard interception return by Eric Briscoe for a touchdown. They lead 7-0, and you're watching Apple Cup 89.
Cougar fans, whether you live in Colville, Cle Elum, Kelso, or anywhere in Washington, PEMCO can save you money. Let PEMCO tackle all your personal insurance needs. Auto, home, and boat. Discover our fast, friendly service. Then you'll know why more than 300,000 Washington residents insure with PEMCO. And you can report a claim day or night, 7 days a week. The clock never runs out at PEMCO. Put PEMCO in your court. Call for a free rate quotation now.
If we had a plumbing problem, which he always treated as something that only he could handle, now I'm doing it, which is exactly one of the reasons that I did go to Pay and Pack. Anything that doesn't require brute strength, I will try.
At Pay and Pack's November month-long sale, you'll save on a wide selection of SystemWorks closet organizers. Or save $7 on this Skills Super Twist cordless screwdriver. It's just $27.99. Now at Pay and Pack, where you get the home you want and the help you need.
Tonight's game is brought to you by Pay and Pack, the home you want, the help you need. By PEMCO Financial Center, we honor excellence. By Kuppenheimer Men's Clothier, America's #1 clothier for men. By Taco Bell's 59-cent value menu. And by your Toyota dealer and the 1990 Toyota Camry. Toyota, I love what you do for me.
Husky Stadium in Seattle decided the 1989 Apple Cup game between the Washington State Cougars and the University of Washington Huskies. Nothing really hinges on this other than a bowl bid.
No, it's good that the quarter ended so they could move down to this end so they didn't wear out that part of the AstroTurf.
Washington State has yet to visit Husky territory today on 3rd and goal. They go to the end zone. It is incomplete. The intended receiver was Orlando McKay, and Roosevelt Noble broke up the play. And so that'll create a 4th down, and here comes John McCallum to attempt a field goal.
Noble is right there on the play, but the ball, I think you're going to see, comes down out of bounds. But every time someone throws the football against the Cougars, you feel about 20,000 people hold their breath.
John McCallum will kick.
And that's just the defensive secondary coaches.
John McCallum's the 2nd leading Husky scorer, 7th in the Pac-10. 7th in the Pac-10 and field goals 12 out of 15.
This will be a 22-yard effort out of the hold of Kerry Conklin. The kick is up, and it is good. John McCallum's 22-yard field goal with 14:52 to play in the second period has given the Washington Huskies a 10-0 advantage over their cross-state rivals. You're watching Apple Cup 89.
You got to make your own sunshine. Make your own good time. Yeah, life's too fine to waste it. You got to live it, feel it, taste it. The only beer to drink around here is rain. Be on it, whoa, be on it, baby. Make your own sunshine. Be on it, be on it, oh yeah.
The Washington State defense has played well. The offense has given them very poor field position to work with.
They're very fortunate it's not 21-0 right now. I think, you know, if the offense can get something going, get some first down, some field position, the Cougars could kind of crawl their way back into the game.
John McCallum will kick off. The 2 receivers dropping deep for Washington State are Steve Broussard and Rich Swinton.
Out of 49 kickoffs this year, 58 kickoffs, excuse me, 54 have been returned against the Huskies, so we're looking for a return. First time out, the Cougars had kind of an I formation back there, and they're trying to get Broussard to move out at the last moment so that he could get a chance to get his hands on the ball. He's averaging 30 yards a return as opposed to the team average of 19.4.
10-0 Washington, early second quarter. And it'll be Rich Swinton. Swinton out to the 18-yard line. The Cougars will go to work from there, 1st and 10. And Brad Gosson returns. Shane Palcoa made the tackle for the Husky special team.
Well, I would imagine that Coach Price has probably told Brad Gosson he's got one more chance to get the team going. There's the Husky scoring drive. Good job by the Cougar defense of keeping the Huskies out of the end zone.
The Husky defense has been most impressive this afternoon, holding this potent Washington State offense scoreless. Here's Broussard, met in drop, shy of the line of scrimmage. Travis Richardson, Martin Harrison, all there along with Dana Hall.
Huskies putting a lot of pressure on the Cougars up front. A lot of it's just, they seem to be stunning and penetrating. Not really overpowering anybody, but getting in the gaps. It's hard to run that counter play. Obviously, they're having a hard time pass protecting as well.
Tim Stallworth and Calvin Briggs wide to the right. Broussard, the ball carrier, almost dropped in the backfield. Now he's free. Broussard for a 1st down.
Tremendous effort by Steve Broussard. Not much help up front.
Eric Briscoe made the tackle.
He turned a 3-yard loss into a 13-yard gain, Keith.
And Broussard is still down.
Looks like he might have had a shot around the hip or the ribs.
And for Washington State coaches, that would be a huge loss, and for Washington State teammates and fans alike.
Donald Jones misses Broussard one-on-one. There's certainly no shame in that. Gets upfield, you can see he was crunched by Briscoe and Burkhalter.
Looks like Briscoe got a hat on him as he came through.
Hall's right there. That's the shot. Probably to the thigh.
Rich Swinton is in the ball game now for Washington State, as is Paul Carr, as the Cougars have been showing a two-back set the better part of the afternoon.
Well, the Huskies remember Rich Swinton very much last year. Broussard was not a factor in the game. Swinton came on and rushed for 155 yards. So the Cougars have some depth at running back. I don't think they have the explosive breakaway power, nor the great pass receiver in any of the people behind Broussard.
Steve Broussard, the injured player. We're going to take a break and be back in just a moment. Apple Cup 89 from Husky Stadium in Seattle. We're pleased you joined us for Apple Cup 89.
Okay, you're trying to decide between the Jeep Cherokee and the Isuzu Trooper. Let's weigh the facts, shall we? The Isuzu Trooper comes standard with four-wheel disc brakes and triple skid plates, more cargo space, a larger fuel tank, and more headroom. Oh, and one more thing. The Isuzu Trooper costs about $1,000 less.
Right now, you can save big bucks on the Trooper during Isuzu's Take It to the Bank sale.
Monday, the cops of Jump Street come face to face with their most shocking suspect, a teenage hitman.
Police, drop it!
An all-new 21 Jump Street. Then, they have come to Earth to live among us and brought with them the games they play.
It's an obsession. You played the game? Yes.
Witness a new kind of sport where only the winner survives.
Let the game begin.
Alien Nation, right after 21 Jump Street, this Monday on Fox.
Steve Broussard is a real gamer. I would suspect he'll do everything he can to get back in this game, and Mike Price has come out to the field to see how he's doing.
When somebody's down that long, doesn't look real good. But as everyone looks on, they're looking on at the Cougar offense, really, literally.
Broussard has had a series of injuries in the past. He's had hamstring problems. He has had shoulder problems, and this looks as if it might be a knee. Perhaps that hit took place when he was planting.
You see the play where it happened. It's a clean tackle. It's either the right thigh, right knee area.
And we'll try to get an injury report from the Cougar sideline as soon as possible as to the status of Steve Broussard. We'll resume play. Cougars 1st and 10 from the 31-yard line, and here's Rich Swinton, and he's wrapped up and dropped right away in the backfield. Martin Harrison made the tackle. A loss of a couple of yards on the play. It'll be 2nd and 12.
Well, when it rains, it pours. Right now, the Cougars got yet another trial to get by and try to climb back into this football game.
Huskies lead the Cougars 10-0. 13-19 to play. Second quarter. Dawson over the middle to Rod Olson, and he is dropped by Jaime Field. Big play from the redshirt freshman from Linwood, California. Jaime Fields with the tackle of Rod Olson.
Great tackle by Fields. He unloaded and just exploded on Rod Olson. Freshman giving a senior a little lesson in how defense is played. Great hit. Huskies have been good hitters all year. At times when they've not tackled well, they've not wrapped up well. Talking to Coach Lambright, he just doesn't know how to explain that. He said if he did, he'd be a rich man right now.
Defense playing well. Dennis Brown over center Paul Wolf. Now they go outside to Rich Swinton, and he's wrapped up and dropped. Another loss on the play, and the Husky defense getting the best of this Cougar offense now. Jim Clifford there first from Seattle's Ingram High School.
Nice play by Clifford. Came unblocked outside. You can tell by the look on Rich Swinton's face. Cougar offense very frustrated right now. Huskies lining up in a lot of different looks. Cougars not very crisp up front.
Rob Myers on to punt once again. Charles Mincy standing back at his own 39-yard line for Washington. Good snap. And a much better punt this time from Rob Myers. He sends Mincy all the way back inside the 10, and the Cougars will not get to this one. That's the foot we're used to seeing from Rob Myers. We'll come back, and the Huskies will start 1st and 10 from their own 20, leading 10-0. Pleased you've joined us for Apple Cup 89.
When a man comes to Kuppenheimer and pays only $245 for a suit that would have cost him $400 somewhere else, he feels like celebrating. And with the money he saved, he can afford to. The Premier Edition suit, only at Kuppenheimer. America's #1 value clothier for men.
Hey, you know that original Taco Bell taco for just 59 cents? Oh, yeah. Well, that ain't all. Now they got tostadas for 59 cents. Bringing you burritos for 59 cents. Pintos and cheese for 59 cents. And soft shell tacos, too. 59 cents. Taco Bell make a run for the border.
Here's the big punt from Rob Myers.
69 yards. Unfortunately, it's only going to net 49 as Cougars just couldn't get there in time to keep that ball from rolling over the end line. Very nice decision by Mincy, allowing that ball to trickle into the end zone.
Myers' long this year was 81 yards against USC. He's the 6th best punter in the country in terms of NCAA statistics, 2nd best in the Pac-10. On 1st down, here's Conklin to pass. He elects to run instead, and he's wrapped up and dropped by Tim Downing.
Nice job by Downing. He's had 55 tackles this year, 10 for losses. That's an example of pretty good defense there. That Cougars rushing for playing zone defense. Everybody was covered. Conklin had no one to throw to. And he's not known as a real explosive person when he's a scrambler.
A loss of 2 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 12 for the Huskies now. Orlando McKay in the lineup. Andre Riley and Mario Bailey all go wide to the left. Lewis is the lone setback. On 2nd down, penalty flags, and there's motion. It appeared that Lincoln Kennedy pulled up a little early. Where's number 75?
Lincoln Kennedy is a big man for a freshman, 6'7", 315.
Ball starts on the offense. Repeat 2nd down.
315 pounds. And he's a freshman playing in his first Apple Cup, and he's ready. Unfortunately, the ball's got to be snapped first. These are the kind of things that happen in rival games.
The Huskies penalized 5 yards. That'll create a 2nd and 17 situation now. Those Cougar penalties have wiped out some big gains today.
That's the problem. Every one of those penalties has negated a potential big play and momentum generator for the Cougars.
Ball at the 13, Huskies in the I formation. They give to Lewis.
Excellent job by Dan Grayson. Scrape into the hole. Front four is beginning to assert themselves, Keith. Keith Gilbertson had told us that the one thing that he felt that the USC's front four was really the top one in the conference. The Cougars were right behind. Their greatest forte, he believed, was their strength. Not necessarily a real quick unit, but a lot of real strong bench pressers up there.
2-yard loss creates a 3rd and 15 situation now. Ball at the Husky 15-yard line. And another.
Dean Kirkland, the left.
That's Lincoln Kennedy again.
Well, there may have been more than one moving.
Whatever the case, it appears the Huskies will be backed up once again.
Ball starts on the offense. Repeat 3rd down.
You can see these kind of things are really taking away the spontaneity of the Washington offense. Now they're struggling just to get a play executed. Cougars have got to capitalize on this kind of turn in momentum. Well, if Kennedy did move, Dean Kirkland did as well. Sometimes it's difficult to pick up the checks in a noisy stadium like this.
It'll be 3rd and 20 now. They get to Darius Turner. Up to the 16-yard line. Cougars scrambling for the football. And now we have some activity going on in the middle of that stack. We'll see what the officials do as we break it up here. It'll be 4th down.
It'd be very unfortunate to take a penalty in a situation like that. Your defense has just risen to the occasion. It's all momentum. You got to be smart. Everybody's going to be emotional. Offensive people have got to be efficient. Defensive people have got to be aggressive but smart. Husky punter Channing Wiles, 7th in the Pac-10. Season average 37.8.
John Diggs back at his own 46-yard line to receive for Washington State. Wiles bounces at midfield, and Washington State will start with some of their better field position of the day. 8:56 to play in the first half. Washington leads Washington State 10-0, and you're watching Apple Cup 89.
Hey, look at this, a dog show.
Dogs and beer.
Ah, the poodle. You know, the poodle was the French hunting dog.
Yeah, this guy was a killer.
Kind of looks like your Uncle Bob without that bad toupee.
Yeah, my whole mother's side of the family. He's regarding the house.
He's regarding a small trailer.
Hey, check this out.
Pretty cool, huh?
It's hard to imagine when you're trying to do a remodel what it's going to look like, and it's nice to walk in there and get an idea of how you want your kitchen.
When we went through the showcase, you could see all the different cabinets that we could have bought, and we really wanted to get this European look.
Right now, you'll save 65% off the manufacturer's list price on all pay-and-pack kitchen cabinets.
Well, I especially like the people that work there. I think they are so supportive, you know, first-name basis. When we left, they were calling me Dottie, and I was calling them Bob, and they are doing something right, and I hope they never change it.
Steve Broussard has returned to the Cougar huddle.
Well, a lot of miracles happen on Apple Cup the week prior to it and during the game. Mark Smaha obviously has looked Steve over and has deemed him fit for service. You know that if it depends on attitude, Broussard would have crawled back out there if he could.
Well, Mike Price said earlier this week that trainer Mark Smaha kind of felt like the Maytag repairman. He hasn't had any visitors to the training room this week. It's amazing what a rival game can do for those nicks and bumps and bruises.
Well, when it's a one-shot deal, you can usually...
First down, Gosson looking to pass, and does so to Calvin Griggs. Steps out of bounds at the 45-yard line. Briscoe escorted him out of bounds after a 7-yard gain.
Nice job by the Cougars of getting Brad Gosson to set up for a pass somewhere then directly behind the center. That's going to help get away from the pressure by the Huskies. That looked more like the Brad Gosson we're used to seeing on film. Someone who's out there calm, under control, takes the man who's open.
So a 2nd and 3 situation now. Cougars have Carr and Broussard in the backfield. Broussard inside, and he picks up about 2 yards. He'll be shy of the first down. And this is the best field position Washington State has experienced today, Ken.
That's right. Bob Garman got his dander up there a little bit. It's a difficult game. Rival games, people are talking at each other. They're pushing after the play. You must be smart, turn your back, get back in the huddle. A couple years ago in Pullman, the Cougars lost a football game because a Cougar couldn't turn his back on a Husky, had to get the last say, threw a punch, didn't really do much. He was thrown out of the game.
But it swung the momentum. That was the Rico Tipton incident in the 1984 game, which Washington went on to win. Broussard outside. He picks up the first down. You see the value of a Steve Broussard in that lineup. Lilo Lang made the stop.
You know, tackling Steve Broussard has got to be a little bit like tackling a hand grenade. He's so low to the ground, 5'7", 205 pounds. He's very strong, great quickness. That was a very good hit by Lilo Lang. difficult to wrap that guy up. He has a great sense of leverage, gravity, balance, all these things.
11 carries for 34 yards now for Broussard. Cougars looking to move into Husky territory for the first time today from their own 49. Pass is incomplete, intended for Stallworth. Eugene Burkhalter provided coverage for the Huskies.
You can't cover it much closer than that without a flag being thrown. Burkhalter went right over the top of him, knocked the football away. If there's any doubt as to whether Tim Stallworth was going to get out on the field, I think we can see that he's going to be an active participant today. Looks as quick as ever. The injury like he had, you got to wonder what it's going to be like after he gets hit.
Second down, 10 from the 49-yard line. Broussard inside the 40 to the 37-yard line. Steve Broussard. Eugene Burkhalter made the tackle.
Nice tackle by Burkhalter. Had he not made this stop, Broussard may have gone all the way. Price said that he wanted to get the ball to Broussard in blitz situation. The Huskies were bringing their linebackers off what they call a double eagle look. Create some seams. If you can get some protection at the line of scrimmage, you can open a hole like this. Pretty nice block there by Mike Smith, the sophomore from Auburn.
The Cougars are into Husky territory for the first time today. 7:18 to play, first half. First down, 10 from the 37. Broussard back to the line of scrimmage for no gain.
Steve's biggest challenge so far today has been to get to the line of scrimmage. Once he's got there, there's been some activity downfield. That counter play is difficult to run against a defense that's stunning and penetrating as the Huskies are so far.
Jim Lambright's prepared this Husky defensive unit very well today.
And he said that they would pretty much do the same package that they've been running ever since spring, just adapt it to the Husky or the Cougar offense.
Huskies with a decisive edge rushing. That's accredited to the Husky defense, holding this potent Washington State offense to small numbers. Broussard wrapped up again. There's Jim Clifford from his inside linebacker spot to make the tackle.
That's a great play by Clifford. That's a similar situation the Cougars are doing to the Huskies as the option. They're running people, trying to run people off and put Broussard man-to-man on a linebacker. In this case, excellent job by Clifford of running him down. There were not many people to help him outside had he missed it.
James Clifford's having a big day for the Huskies. A 3rd and 11 situation after Broussard loses one on the play. Swinton in the lineup now as Broussard goes to the sidelines, and Gosson will look to pass on 3rd down. Going long. The pass is nearly intercepted by Eric Briscoe. The intended receiver was C.J. Davis. And the Husky defense thwarts another Cougar drive.
Good defense. Look.
Jason Hansen is going to come on and attempt a field goal.
There's an example. You're trying to isolate a man-to-man on a strong safety who's normally not as fast as a corner, and you might get a chance of getting him beat deep.
Jason Hansen out of the hold of Rob Myers from the 45-yard line. This will be a 55-yard field goal. His long this season, 58 yards against Brigham Young.
Jason's 20 for 25 so far this season.
Paul Wolf to snap. Kick is plenty long enough, but no good. Wide to the right. A rare occasion when Jason Hansen misses a field goal. And Washington State is still scoreless. 5.5 minutes to play in the first half. Huskies leading 10-0.
Jason Hansen leads the Pac-10 in field goals. He's 2nd in scoring, 1st in the nation in field goals. It always seems that anything that can happen ironical will happen in this game. Same kind of thing hit place kicker for the Huskies several years ago in 1982 in Pullman.
That was Chuck Nelson.
The only miss of the year.
10 from the 38. Pass is complete. That's Aaron Pierce, the tight end. Six-yard gain on the play. Jason Hansen here after the missed field goal.
His reaction tells you the whole story. Jason doesn't talk much. But you can tell he knows. Got to shake it off.
Huskies look at a 2nd and 4 situation now after the pass to Pierce, and here is Greg Lewis, met at the line of scrimmage and brought down.
Another excellent job by Dan Grayson of staying square to the line of scrimmage, coming up and plugging the hole.
Tim Downing there as well for Washington State.
Cougar defensive front four is bottling up the offensive line right now, keeping the linebackers free, allowing them to go one-on-one with Lewis. Some of the best run defense I've seen him play in the last 3 games, Keith.
The defense had a job to do after giving up a little more than 1,500 yards in its last 3 outings.
Well, this is definitely a football game now.
Huskies lead at 10-0. Darius Turner, Greg Lewis in the backfield. Conklin throwing. Orlando McKay to the 10-yard line. They'll spot him at the 12. And the Huskies are knocking on the Cougar end zone again. Alvin Dunn brought him down.
That was Kerry Conklin.
Cougars brought 8 rushers, leaving the secondary man-to-man on the wide receivers. Great job of protection. Nice block by Kirkland picking up linebacker. Noble is beat. Alvin Dunn was there to help out, but it's too late. That's the gamble you take when you have a pressure-oriented defense.
44-yard passing gain. The Huskies have it 1st and 10 from the 12. Darius Turner met at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. It'll be 2nd down.
Lewis Bush in on the tackle. Mark Ledbetter there as well. Lewis Bush has really blossomed this year as a sophomore for the Cougars. Situation like this, you got to tell the defense, got to hold them to a field goal attempt.
Washington State having all kinds of trouble moving the ball today. Washington, though, moving it with ease. At this point, Lewis the lone setback. Conklin will pass. Looking for the end zone and just sails it away as there was no receiver open. Andre Riley, the lone man there. That's a smart play on Conklin's part.
Well, it is. He may have misjudged the throw a little bit. Riley slipped and fell down, but had he not, he had Roosevelt Noble completely turned around on that route. He faked a post and then went back to the corner. Defensive secondary coach would consider that probably the most difficult individual pattern to cover man-to-man. And a great one down near the goal line, because normally you don't have help inside by your safety. You must honor that move. If it's a good one, you overcommitted to the inside and have a good chance of getting back to the outside in the corner area.
3rd down 10. Greg Lewis on the option. Lewis met and dropped by Alvin Dunn. Shy of the 1st down. Well shy of the 1st down. A gain of 4 on the play. It'll be 4th and 6, and John McCallum will come on for Washington and attempt a short field goal.
Great job of blocking by Darius Turner here. McKay tries to make a crackback. Turner does a great job on Chris Moton.
Kerry Conklin will hold and spot the ball at the 16-yard line. It'll be a 26-yard field goal effort for the University of Washington's John McCallum, whose grandfather, Hugh, played football at Washington State.
13 for 16 so far this year.
Kick is up, and it is good. John McCallum's 2nd field goal of the day has given the Washington Huskies a 13-0 lead with 2:06 to play in the 1st half. Happy you've joined us for Apple Cup 89.
Fans, whether you live in Westport, Wenatchee, Walla Walla, or anywhere in Washington, PEMCO can save you money. Let PEMCO tackle all your personal insurance needs: auto, home, and boat. Discover our fast, friendly service. Then you'll know why over 300,000 Washington residents insure with PEMCO. And you can report a claim day or night, 7 days a week. The clock never runs out at PEMCO. Put PEMCO in your court. Call for a free rate quotation now.
I love what you do for me, Toyota. I love how you set me free, Toyota. I love it. I just love it. I love it. I love it. I love what you do for me, Toyota.
Washington Huskies lead the Washington State Cougars 13-0. This is the 82nd meeting between these two clubs. They call it the Apple Cup.
You know, the only offense today has been generated by Briscoe on the interception return. The Huskies are 2 for 6 on third down conversions. Cougars 1 for 7. Huskies have moved it better, but it's really kind of, well, not degenerated, but it's kind of evolved into a defensive struggle at the moment.
McCallum will kick off, and Chambé Wright Fair and Rich Swinton have dropped back to their own 4-yard lines, respectively, to receive, as the Cougars will take better care of Steve Broussard now, I'm sure, in an effort to save that tender wheel. So he's come back to play in this ball game. 2:06 to play, first half. It's Swinton. Wrapped up and dropped at the 15-yard line. Tommy Smith was there.
Cougars are trying to run a side return to the wide side of the field in this case. They're just not able to get over to the wall. Tommy Smith, the freshman from Lancaster, California. Husky coaches tell us he's one of the better kick coverers. Last week against Oregon State, those people were going a little bit out of control. You can see that he turns it on when he should, comes in behind those blockers. Difficult to run a side return when the ball is kicked to the far side like that.
Tommy Smith.
True freshman.
Big play for the Huskies. Cougars 1st and 10 from their own 15, and heavy pressure on Gosson. He's going to have to eat it. Dropped for a 4-yard loss. Back to the 11-yard line.
Looked like Dennis Brown on the play there. Cougars, for a quick passing game, just can't get the ball off quickly right now. That's indicative of good coverage downfield.
Jaime Fields made the tackle. We've called his name quite a few times today.
Well, the Huskies are mixing up their rush. They're bringing 4 and 5 people. Normally it's the inside 4 plus one of the outside linebackers.
1 minute, 22 seconds to play in the first half. Cougars trailing the Huskies 13-0. When was the last time the Cougars were shut out in a half of football? It's been a long time. Swinton out to the 23-yard line. He needed to get to the 30, or rather the 26 for a first down. Harrison made the tackle for the Huskies.
Nice block by Bob Garman. Pretty well executed play, but the play takes so long to get going. Running sideways a great deal of the time.
Third down, 3 yards.
You're not going to make a living with that kind of play against this Husky defense.
3rd and 3 now for the Cougars. Swinton alone back. Out across the 25-yard line, he earns the first down. They'll spot it at the 27.
Nice job by the right side of the offensive line that time.
The Cougars will call a timeout here. Their second of the half with 33 seconds remaining. Very frustrating first half offensively for the Washington State Cougars. A team which is used to putting up big numbers and has been held to just 59 yards of total offense here in the first half. 50 on the ground and 9 through the air.
Actually, what Mike Price might ask the officials to do is go over and put the down marker to 4th down and let them operate every play as if it were 4th down. They're 2 for 2 in 4th down conversions. It's really the only situation so far the Cougar offense has done anything close to the relative performance levels they've had all season.
Well, we've seen some of those injured players for Washington State come back today. Garman with the pinched nerve is playing. May we see Aaron Garcia in this game? Standing near Coach Mike Price now.
Well, there are a couple things that got to go through your mind. Do I change my quarterback, or can I change what my quarterback is doing? Brad, obviously under a lot of pressure inside. You need to try to roll him out, play action. Haven't seen the Cougars run the draw very much. Need to do some things to get the Husky defense off balance.
Broussard the lone setback. 3 receivers to the right with 33 seconds to play in the half. Dawson rolling out. Lots of pressure. He's dropped for a loss. Martin Harrison, the Husky sack leader, in to make the tackle. And the first half is winding down to a close. Clock running with 7 seconds. The Cougars will head to the dressing room after a disappointing first half, but for the Huskies, oh so sweet. An interception return for a touchdown into the 7-0 lead. A pair of John McCallum field goals has extended it to 13, and that's where we're at halftime of Apple Cup 89.
Wherever your holiday travels take you this year, be it over the river, through the woods, or even through white and drifted snow, make your first destination a Goodyear retailer, where you'll find some of the biggest savings of the year on a wide selection of Goodyear all-season and steel-belted radials. During Goodyear's Sale of the Season, it's your chance to save on quality Goodyear tires through November 25th at all participating Goodyear retail locations. Nobody fits you like Goodyear.
Tonight, see San Diego through the eyes of cops.
Your boyfriend's letting you take the fall for the drugs.
How can he walk away?
Cops in San Diego. Then, on The Reporters, is time running out for Mother Earth, or can we stop this toxic time bomb? Find out with celebrity reporters Olivia Newton-John, Christopher Reeves, Carole King, Christy Brinkley, and Robert Wagner.
The Reporters and Cops, tonight following the Apple Cup.
Halftime of Apple Cup 89 at Husky Stadium in Seattle. The Washington Huskies out in front 13-0. Ken Woody, it's been a long time since the Cougars have been held scoreless in a half.
Right now, their offense is getting their tail ends kicked by a very aggressive Husky defense.
In terms of total offense, the Huskies have 147 yards in the first half. The Cougars just 52. That pretty much tells the story.
Well, the other part of the story is the Cougars are 1 for 7 in third down conversions. They've got 3 big penalties, both on offense and defense, that have wiped out big plays. They've had 2 turnovers.
Could they have come in over-emotional, perhaps?
I don't think so. I watched them practice on Thursday, and it looked very calm, you know, almost eerie. And that's the way they're playing right now.
Eerie is right if you're a Cougar fan. Exciting if you're a Husky fan. Halftime of Apple Cup 89. The Washington Huskies leading the Washington State Cougars 13-0. Halftime activities continue from Husky Stadium. You're watching Apple Cup 89.
One-stop shopping and low prices every day. You'll find it at the new Fred Meyer, now open in Auburn.
The itsy bitsy daddy, I need something to eat. Water spout, down came the rain. Mommy, I need something to drink. Honey, we need to go to the bathroom.
At Chevron, you can get everything you need to get you where you're going.
Mommy, Daddy, we need gas.
Even gasoline. Chevron, we're with you all the way.
Sunday on Fox will be a night to remember. First, the Bundys need a new car. Just don't get another Weenie Mobile. Will it be the car of Al's dreams?
Am I not fit to die?
A hilarious Married with Children. Then, last week, Open House hit Las Vegas. This week, Vegas hits back.
You thought you were going to leave here alive.
Then Tracy Ullman and special guests Carole King, Clarence Clemens, and Billy Preston rock the house together. It's a night of television you won't want to miss. Sunday.
It's fascinating, really. To a lot of people, students are students, professors are professors, classrooms have 4 walls, books have covers. So what's different about Washington State University? Just this. Somehow or other, Washington State's sons and daughters all come away with a deep and abiding affection, love almost, for the place where they got their education. Tells you something, doesn't it? Washington State University. It really is something special.
So how does she feel after she kills him?
She feels like justice has finally been done in the only way she can
As the
do it.
ways we learn about our world and the universe change, at the University of Washington, there's a time-honored meeting of minds that doesn't change. The University of Washington, a place of learning.
It is halftime of Apple Cup 89. The Washington Huskies out in front of the Washington State Cougars 13-0. Tom Hart is the district sales manager for the education division of Apple Computers, and he joins us now. Apple has been a sponsor of our Road to the Apple Cup halftime features throughout the 1989 season, and they're awarding a Power to Be Your Best award to a student athlete from the University of Washington and Washington State University. This award recognizes the student athlete who has displayed outstanding leadership through athletic achievement, scholastic achievement, and community involvement. And this year's recipients of the Power to Be Your Best award are, first of all, for the University of Washington, John McCallum, a senior from Seattle's Roosevelt High School, majoring in mechanical engineering, carries a 3.2 grade point average. And for Washington State, senior punter Rob Myers from La Cañada, California. He's been a Pac-10 All-Academic selection, was a National Football Foundation postgraduate scholarship nominee this year. Our congratulations to both. And Tom, you have another presentation to make.
Yes, I do. First of all, we'd like to congratulate Rob Myers and John McCallum on winning the Power to Be Your Best award. After watching the 74-yard punt and 2 field goals, it's no wonder that they've excelled on the football field, but also they've excelled in the classroom and in their communities. And on behalf of these 2 scholar athletes, Apple Computer will be donating 2 Macintosh Plus computers, 1 each, to each of the schools of education at the respective institutions.
And here to receive on behalf of those schools, the athletic director at Washington State, Jim Lyman.
Tom, thank you very much on behalf of Washington State.
And for the University of Washington, Athletic Director Mike Luke.
We can use it and we appreciate it. Thank you.
The Power to Be Your Best award from Apple Computer. And we thank you for your support of Apple Cup 89 as well. Halftime at the Apple Cup at Husky Stadium in Seattle. Washington in a 13-point halftime lead. Halftime activities continue in just a moment. On Apple Cup.
To learn the ABCs, improve your GPA, write like a PhD, and organize for the IRS, all you need is an MAC. And now's a good time to get one, because Apple's free trial run lets you try out a Macintosh or Apple IIgs free, or take Apple's cash allowance. You'll get up to $300 back on selected peripherals. See your authorized Apple dealer for details today, because these offers expire December 31st.
If we had a plumbing problem, which he always treated as something that only he could handle, now I'm doing it, which is exactly one of the reasons that I did go to Pay and Pack. Anything that doesn't require brute strength, I will try.
During Pay and Pack's November month-long sale, this Bell model keyed entry lock from Schlage is just $12.99. Stanley's Light Maker garage door opener even turns on your house lights. It's just $174.97 now at Pay and Pack, where you get the home you want and the help you need.
Welcome to L.A. If you bank with Security Pacific, some of your money is likely to end up down here because their owners are here. But if you bank with Puget Sound Bank, well, it's a different story. Open a Puget Sound Bank Club checking account, for example, and we'll make a contribution to a fund to help fight pollution in the Sound. Puget Sound Bank, the only major independent commercial bank left around here.
It is halftime at Husky Stadium in Seattle. Capacity crowd watching today's 82nd meeting between Washington and Washington State. The Huskies with a 13-point halftime advantage. Time for an update of the rest of today's action around the Pacific 10 Conference. Traditional rival day. Southern Cal had already clinched their 3rd straight trip to the Rose Bowl. Today they entertained their cross-city rival UCLA and tied. UCLA finishes the season 3-7-1. The Trojans 8-2-1. The Civil War was played in Eugene this year. Oregon State vied for its first winning season since 1970. The Oregon Ducks were after their first 7-win season since 1964. The Beavers have one more regular season game. They'll visit Hawaii next week. It's known as the big game in the Bay Area. The Golden Bears coming off back-to-back upsets of Arizona and Washington State, the oldest college football rivalry on the West Coast. Cal has not won in Palo Alto since 1983. And next week, Arizona bound for the first Copper Bowl, which will be played in its home stadium. Arizona State has one fewer loss. They'll stay home for the holidays. Those two teams will meet next week in Tempe. And here in Seattle, it is halftime. 13-0, Washington leading Washington State. We're happy you've joined us for Apple Cup 89.
What's your first priority? Miss Crowley.
Well, I'm assuming there's product in the pipeline, so...
Assuming, Miss Crowley. Unfortunately, assuming doesn't feed the bulldog.
The top business schools prepare you for every eventuality you will ever encounter in the business world, except one, business travel. We've got that one covered. United. Come fly the friendly skies.
How can Miss Crowley's three-person sales force stay on top of her far-flung enterprise?
One-stop shopping and low prices every day. You'll find it at the new Fred Meyer, now open in Lacey.
Of all the motor vehicles in America, what's the best seller? Here's a little hint. It's a truck, the Ford F-Series. It's popular here in the Northwest because it's tough, reliable, built to last. And with a price like this, it's hard not to be popular. Especially when you see everything you get. The Ford F-Series pickup. Never has popularity been so well deserved. See it at your local Northwest Ford dealer.
The host Washington Huskies lead the visiting Washington State Cougars in Apple Cup 89. We're at halftime, and one of the sponsors of our telecast this year is the PEMCO Financial Center, and we're pleased to introduce George Flood, who is the Director of Marketing for the PEMCO Financial Center. He has a presentation to make to each university. Dr. Ernest Morris is here. He is the Vice President of Student Affairs for the University of Washington, and Stanton Schmidt is Vice President for University Relations for Washington State University. George?
Thank you very much, Keith. On behalf of Stan McNaughton and the PEMCO Financial Center, it's a pleasure for us to be able to present a couple of checks to the great universities. Long after this ball game is forgotten, which will be quite a while, I suspect, we hope the results of these scholarship funds will remain and stick with the people who receive them. So on behalf of PEMCO, may I offer Washington State a check for $1,000 and the great University of Washington also $1,000. It's a pleasure for us to be able to do this.
George, thank you. A comment from Stanton Schmidt.
Well, we'd like to thank you, George, and Stan, and the whole PEMCO family for all that you do for WSU. And on behalf of our faculty and our students, this means a lot to us, and your support throughout the year means a great deal. Thank you.
And Dr. Ernest Morris from the University of Washington.
We greatly appreciate PEMCO's generosity, and you can be assured that the money will be put to good use.
George Flood, the Director of Marketing for the PEMCO Financial Center, joins us at halftime to make a presentation on behalf of the PEMCO Financial Center. Halftime at Husky Stadium in Seattle, Washington, in front of Washington State, 13-0, and you're watching Apple Cup 89.
To learn the ABCs, improve your GPA, write like a PhD, and organize for the IRS, all you need is an MAC. And now's a good time to get one, because Apple's free trial run lets you try out a Macintosh or Apple IIgs free, or take Apple's cash allowance. You'll get up to $300 back on selected peripherals. See your authorized Apple dealer for details today, because these offers expire December 31st.
Seahawks fans, catch this 32-ounce Seahawks sports bottle. It's just $1.89 filled with Coke or Diet Coke when you buy any large or medium pizza at Pietro's. And if you think that's a great deal, look at this. We'll refill your Seahawks bottle free and give you $3 off any large pizza for an entire year. $3 off any large pizza and free refills for an entire year with your Seahawks sports bottle at Pietro's.
Timber, one of the few renewable resources we have. Forests can be replanted, strengthened by science, and returned to full productivity. The challenge is how to maintain the wisest use of all the beauty, wildlife, recreational value, and harvestable timber. We are all involved in this challenge. Watch The Continuing Forest here on KCPQ Sunday night, November 19th at 10:30. Brought to you by the Forest Products Educational Committee of the Seattle Hoo-Hoo Club.
Washington Huskies out in front of their cross-state rivals, the Washington State Cougars, by 13 points at halftime, and here is how they developed that lead. First play of the game for the Cougars.
Eric Briscoe, 35-yard pass interception. I think you saw Gosson throw the ball and immediately start covering. That's a bad sign. I think he knew it was a bad throw from the moment it left his hand. Third interception of the year for Briscoe. 14 seconds off the clock.
Gave the Huskies a 7-0 lead.
Alvin Dunn returned the favor. Ball deflected off Riley's hands. 4 Cougars going for the ball. Dunn came up with the football. Kept the Cougars in the game at that point.
Husky defense has come up with an awful lot of big plays today.
There's an interception by Burkhalter, his third of the year. Set up this field goal by McCallum. He's had 3 so far. This was the first, a 22-yarder.
The 2 field goals by John McCallum help him equal Mike Lansford's numbers in career. He's number 4 now all time. Here are the first half stats.
Turnovers are even. Surprisingly, the Cougars have had the ball more of the time than the Huskies, but they've really not been very effective with it.
Only been able to generate 52 yards of total offense. And they've had the ball more in terms of time of possession. Coming back with the second half kickoff from Husky Stadium in Seattle. Pleased you've joined us for Apple Cup 89.
Cougar fans, whether you live in Colville, Cle Elum, Kelso, or anywhere in Washington, PEMCO can save you money. Let PEMCO tackle all your personal insurance needs. Auto, home, and boat. Discover our fast, friendly service. Then you'll know why more than 300,000 Washington residents insure with PEMCO. And you can report a claim day or night, 7 days a week. The clock never runs out at PEMCO. Put PEMCO in your court. Call for a free rate quotation now.
You know, there's all those guys in there, and there are also women in there that really knew their stuff about the different plumbing and electrical and the decks and the different kinds of woods that they have. I think it's really nice that both the women can help you and the men.
During Pay and Pac's big November month-long sale, save on CertainTeed insulation and save on heating bills all year long. Or clean up with this Paramount electric power blower. It's just $39.99 now at Pay and Pac, where you get the home you want and the help you need.
Tonight's game between the Washington State Cougars and the University of Washington Huskies is brought to you by Fred Meyer. You'll find it at Freddy's. By Apple Computer, giving you the power to be your best. By Rainier Beer, the only beer they drink around here is Rainier. And by Isuzu, the first car builders of Japan.
Mike Price's Washington State Cougars will kick off to begin the second half. Ken Woody, I'd imagine there was a bit of fire and brimstone in that Cougar dressing room at halftime.
Well, you would assume that'd be the case, but really at this point of the year, you've got to think that your team is going to try hard. They're certainly not going to be lackadaisical. It's just a matter of sorting out, hey, let's find some plays we can execute. Let's find a pass protection that'll work. Defense played very well the last 2/3 of that first half, playing well enough to keep the Cougars in the football game.
Eric Alosi and Bino Bryant are deep to receive for the Washington Huskies. Their first kickoff reception of the day. It's Bryant from his own 10, and he's got some room out to the 28-yard line. Bino Bryant tackled by Paul Carr, and the Huskies will start 1st and 10 from their own 28 as we begin the second half. 73,527 on hand for today's game. That's the 4th highest attendance figure in Husky Stadium history. And here's Kerry Conklin to lead his team.
Right now, the Huskies are looking to get that spontaneity they had in the first period. Cougars have got to get a play to get some kind of momentum to get them headed towards the end zone.
High formation, Turner and Lewis the backs. Conklin for the option. It's Lewis. Turns the corner. He's out to the 35-yard line. A gain of 8. Dan Grayson made the tackle.
Again, situation number 31, Darius Turner, threw a very nice block on Lewis Bush to help provide that running lane.
Second down, 2 yards to go for the Huskies.
Just underway in the second half. Keith Chipman and Ken Woody from Husky Stadium in Seattle. Aaron Garcia warming up on that Cougar sideline, but then again, so is Brad Gosson. We'll be anxious to see who the quarterback will be for Washington State on their first possession of the second half. Greg Lewis having a big day, 10 carries for 65 yards, and this time Conklin goes down wisely without turning the football loose.
Similar situation in the first half when he tripped on his guard or center's foot coming out of there. That time he held on to the ball. Earlier in the game he tried to complete the handoff and a fumble ensued. Okay, well, there looks like they're going to send in a play. Conklin is did the smart thing there, Keith. No need to force the issue, particularly beginning the third quarter and deep in your own territory.
On 3rd and 5 now. Conklin passing to Orlando McKay out to the 35-yard line. Chris Moton made the tackle.
I'll tell you,
promotional consideration provided by Continental, with the only service to Tokyo designed to help business travelers avoid jet lag. Continental, working to be your choice to Tokyo.
Situation right there. Conklin, he has got a gun. That ball looked like it came out of a cannon.
13:26 to play, third quarter. It's a Husky first down. See one of those 73,000 fans in purple and gold that want to make Mike Price's day a little bit difficult.
Well, every coach has a day like this. Somewhere out on the field, something's got to happen to change it around.
First and 10 Washington at their own 37-yard line. Play action, Conklin to pass, looking for Orlando McKay. It's intercepted by Chris Moton of the Cougars. And Washington State has it first and 10 from their own 29-yard line. A little extracurricular activity taking place between Washington State's Randy Gray and Darius Turner after the play was completed. The officials separated them and moved them to their respective sidelines.
Great play by Moton. The ball was just a foot away from being a perfect pass. Conklin is known to throw the ball up and allow the receivers to run under it. This time Moton had position. McKay made the tackle. Real foolish situation for the Cougars, though, to be involved in that pushing and shoving. Penalty might have brought the whole thing back.
First and 10 from the 29. It's Steve Broussard going inside, back to the line of scrimmage, and the Cougars continue to try to hammer it inside. It really hasn't been there that much today.
No, most of the luck they've had running the football have been on quick hitting plays. Plays that take a little bit longer to develop. Their front line is just not able to sustain the blocks.
Broussard back in the ball game, 15 carries for 47 yards. He had a leg injury in the first half, but returned a short while later. Cougars send 3 receivers to the left, Stallworth, Davis, and Griggs. And now Broussard out of the backfield in motion. The pass thrown behind Tim Stallworth. It'll be third down.
Mike Price has got to be searching for something that can give Brad Gosson some sort of tempo here. The look on his face tells it all. He's frustrated. Everything he seems to try is just not working.
Well, they're fortunate they're not down by a couple of more touchdowns. Their defense has played well enough to keep Washington out of the end zone.
Well, I would say in a situation like this that if you ever were going to consider a quarterback change, the opportunity is beginning to present itself.
Cougars trips left once again. Broussard is in the backfield, coming out now as a receiver. Broussard out to the 35-yard line. He'll be shy of the first down. Clifford made the tackle.
Cougars 1 out of 7 in third down conversions in the first half. 0 for 1 in the second. Good play to run when an outside linebacker blitzes. One more block. Pretty good tackle by Clifford. One hand to the back of the shoulder pads.
Mincy back at his own 25-yard line. Rob Myers to punt for Washington State. Cougars needing some life. And they're punting. Myers, another good kick, forces Mincy back inside his 10. This one will bounce into the end zone as well and come out to the 20-yard line, where Washington will start its next possession. 11:39 to play. Third quarter, Washington clinging to a 13-0 lead. This is Apple Cup 89.
Tonight's game between the Washington State Cougars and the University of Washington Huskies is brought to you by Fred Meyer. You'll find it at Freddy's. By Apple Computer, giving you the power to be your best. By Rainier Beer, the only beer they drink around here is Rainier. And by Isuzu, the first car builders of Japan.
Mike Price's Washington State Cougars will kick off to begin the second half. Ken Woody, I'd imagine there was a bit of fire and brimstone in that Cougar dressing room at halftime.
Well, you would assume that'd be the case, but really at this point of the year, you've got to think that your team is going to try hard. They're certainly not going to be lackadaisical. It's just a matter of sorting out, hey, let's find some plays we can execute. Let's find a pass protection that'll work. Defense played very well the last two-thirds of that first half, playing well enough to keep the Cougars in the football game.
Eric Alozi and Bino Bryant are deep to receive for the Washington Huskies. Their first kickoff reception of the day. It's Bryant from his own 10, and he's got some room out to the 28-yard line. Bino Bryant tackled by Paul Carr, and the Huskies will start 1st and 10 from their own 28 as we begin the second half. 73,527 on hand for today's game. That's the 4th highest attendance figure in Husky Stadium history. And here's Kerry Conklin to lead his team.
Well, right now, the Huskies are looking to get that spontaneity they had in the first period. Cougars have got to get a play to get some kind of momentum to get them headed towards the end zone.
High formation, Turner and Lewis the backs. Conklin for the option, it's Lewis. Turns the corner, he's out to the 35-yard line, a gain of 8. Dan Grayson made the tackle.
Again, situation number 31, Darius Turner threw a very nice block on Lewis Bush to help provide that running lane.
Second down, 2 yards to go for the Huskies.
Just underway in the second half. Keith Chipman and Ken Woody from Husky Stadium in Seattle. Aaron Garcia warming up on that Cougar sideline, but then again so is Brad Gosson. We'll be anxious to see who the quarterback will be for Washington State on their first possession of the second half. Greg Lewis having a big day, 10 carries for 65 yards, and this time Conklin goes down wisely without turning the football loose.
Similar situation in the first half when he tripped on his guard or center's foot coming out of there. That time he held on to the ball. Earlier in the game he tried to complete the handoff and a fumble ensued. Okay, well, there looks like they're going to send in a play. Conklin did the smart thing there, Keith. No need to force the issue, particularly beginning the third quarter and deep in your own territory.
On 3rd and 5 now, Conklin passing to Orlando McKay out to the 35-yard line. Chris Moton made the tackle.
I'll tell you,
promotional consideration provided by Continental, with the only service to Tokyo designed to help business travelers avoid jet lag. Continental, working to be your choice to Tokyo.
Situation right there. Conklin, he has got a gun. That ball looked like it came out of a cannon.
13:26 to play, third quarter. It's a Husky first down. See one of those 73,000 fans in purple and gold that want to make Mike Price's day a little bit difficult.
Well, every coach has a day like this. Somewhere out on the field, something's got to happen to change it around.
1st and 10 Washington at their own 37-yard line. Play action, Conklin to pass. Looking for Orlando McKay. It's intercepted by Chris Moton of the Cougars. And Washington State has it 1st and 10 from their own 29-yard line. A little extracurricular activity taking place between Washington State's Randy Gray and Darius Turner after the play was completed. The officials separated them and moved them to their respective sidelines.
Great play by Moton. The ball was just a foot away from being a perfect pass. Conklin is known to throw the ball out and allow the receivers to run under it. This time Moton had position. McKay made the tackle. Real foolish situation for the Cougars, though, to be involved in that pushing and shoving. Penalty might have brought the whole thing back.
1st and 10 from the 29. It's Steve Broussard going inside, back to the line of scrimmage, and the Cougars continue to try to hammer it inside. It really hasn't been there that much today.
No, most of the luck they've had running the football have been on quick hitting plays. Plays that take a little bit longer to develop. Their front line is just not able to sustain the blocks.
Broussard back in the ball game, 15 carries for 47 yards. He had a leg injury in the first half, but returned a short while later. Cougars send 3 receivers to the left, Stallworth, Davis, and Griggs. And now Broussard out of the backfield in motion. The pass thrown behind Tim Stallworth. It'll be 3rd down.
Mike Price has got to be searching for something that can give Brad Gosson some sort of tempo here. The look on his face tells it all. He's frustrated. Everything he seems to try is just not working.
Well, and they're fortunate they're not down by a couple of more touchdowns. Their defense has played well enough to keep Washington out of the end zone.
Well, I would say in a situation like this that if you ever were going to consider a quarterback change, the opportunity is beginning to present itself.
Cougars trips left once again. Broussard is in the backfield, coming out now as a receiver. Broussard out to the 35-yard line. He'll be shy of the 1st down. Clifford made the tackle.
Cougars 1 out of 7 in 3rd down conversions in the first half. 0 for 1 in the second. Good play to run when an outside linebacker blitzes. One more block. Pretty good tackle by Clifford. One hand to the back of the shoulder pads.
Mincy back at his own 25-yard line. Rob Myers to punt for Washington State. Cougars needing some life. And they're punting. Myers, another good kick, forces Mincy back inside his 10. This one will bounce into the end zone as well and come out to the 20-yard line, where Washington will start its next possession. 11:39 to play. 3rd quarter, Washington clinging to a 13-0 lead. This is Apple Cup 89.
Do you realize how much you depend on your battery? Sound familiar? When you need a battery, it seems there are thousands of batteries out there with just as many prices. Now, Les Schwab, they keep it simple. The most popular size batteries, each at one low price. There. Isn't that better? Just like in tires, when you need a battery, depend on Les Schwab.
For those who hate to leave the comfort of their own home for anything, even eating, Skipper's Takeout is the handiest thing going. Order our hand-filleted fish, shrimp, clams, or oysters, refreshing seafood salads, or a tasty Skipper's Fish Fillet sandwich. And for a limited time, with every meal you take out, you get a cup of our famous clam chowder, absolutely free. Skipper's Seafood. Enjoy it in the privacy of your own home.
As I mentioned earlier, Keith, if there was ever a time to change quarterbacks, this might be it. And if the Cougars have got to go to their second-team guy, they have someone who's number 2 in the Pac-10 in passing, efficiency rating of 138.5.
He played 6 games during the absence of Gosson when he was out with that thumb injury. 1st and 10, Huskies from their own 20. And Conklin will pass. They go to the screen. It's Lewis. Driven out of bounds at the 22-yard line. Lewis Bush was there first for Washington State.
It's the same kind of play the Cougars just ran to Broussard. Good play to run to someone who can do something with the ball after he catches it. Somebody who's got some quickness and open field running ability. Nice job by Bush. Tony Savage, good effort running it down from the backside.
2nd and 8 situation now, facing the Huskies as Kerry Conklin marches to the line of scrimmage. Turner and Lewis in the backfield. They'll pass. Thrown behind Darius Turner. And that'll bring up a 3rd down situation.
Passing play out of the ordinary, bringing the fullback out of the formation, throwing to him. Basically a ball control kind of pass, puts the Huskies in 3rd and long situations. In the films that the Cougar defensive staff broke down, there was not one situation where the Huskies ran on 3rd and long.
And that's what it is now, 3rd and 8. The ball at the 22-yard line. Turner to the right now, along with Lewis in the backfield, and they'll pass. Going long for Andre Riley, in and out of his hands, incomplete. Coverage provided by the Cougars' Michael Wright.
Can't fault Kerry Conklin for that one. That ball was thrown perfectly.
Channing Wiles will come on to kick for the University of Washington.
Cougar fans trying to rally their team right now. Defense has played very well the last quarter and a half.
Sean Diggs is deep to receive for Washington State. He's standing in his own 42-yard line, and Wiles on to punt today.
Diggs has averaged 6.0 yards per return, the longest at 32 against USC.
Penalty flag, and the Huskies will earn a 1st down through a roughing the kicker call. Jay Langwin crashed into Channing Wiles, and it's going to come back and be a 1st down for the University of Washington.
I don't believe anyone hit the football. The ball would have been out of bounds on the 48-yard line. It's unfortunate. A big play for the Cougs, a poor punt by the Husky, and they rough them. It's a 4th situation today. The Cougars have had a potentially big play brought back or turned around because of a penalty. Trying to rush and block a kick, you try to get your people not to leave their feet. And if you can't get the football off the punter's foot, there should not be a collision.
Mike Price is contending that one of his players may have gotten a piece of that football because it did bounce out at the 48-yard line. Let's take a look again and see if there was any contact in the football.
If the ball was touched, then there should be no roughing.
That ball was not touched.
Very close. Jay Langwin was right in there. Langwin, coming back after a long time out with an injury, has been a big special teams player for the Cougars. The discussion might be that it was
unintentional as opposed to intentional.
Right. Running into the kicker as opposed to roughing the kicker.
And that would still leave a 4th down situation. And Don James is not at all pleased. He should know his athletic director is on the rules committee.
It's a high snap. Wiles got the kickoff. There was definitely not
Well,
any contact with the ball.
From that angle, it appears that Channing Wiles may have pulled a bit of theatrics as well. Though there was some contact, he twisted and turned a bit more.
That may be true. Anytime you're
a kicker, a 5-yard penalty, repeat 4th down.
Anytime you're a kicker and your leg is extended that way, it's better to kind of give with the impact and risk serious knee injury.
And so it will be a 4th and 3 situation now, instead of a first down opportunity for the Huskies from the 27-yard line after the unintentional running into the kicker call.
Cougar's still very fortunate not to get a 15-yarder there. Referees can call that situation either way.
Channing Wiles will punt once again, and Diggs is back at his own 35-yard line now to receive for Washington State. Bill Ames, the deep snapper. Much better kick from Wiles this time, and it'll bounce out of bounds at the 44-yard line of Washington State. And when we return, we'll see how the Cougar offense can deal with the Husky defense. 10:50 to play, 3rd period. You're watching Apple Cup 89.
Listen to this forever.
Hey, you know that original Taco Bell taco for just 59 cents? Oh, yeah. Well, that ain't all. Now they got tostadas for 59 cents. Bringing you burritos for 59 cents. Pintos and cheese for 59 cents. And soft shell tacos, too. 59 cents.
The Cougars begin this drive with their best field position of the day at their own 44-yard line.
It's just a question right now is if this game is going to last long enough for the Cougars to get back in it. They have slowly, but inch by inch, kind of got back into the game, but the offense's inability to generate much yardage, they're working against the clock now.
The Huskies held the Cougars scoreless in the first half, and that has happened on only 2 other occasions during this decade, against Ohio State, a game in which they were shut out, and against the Colorado Golden Buffaloes in 1982. That was Bill McCartney's debut at the University of Colorado. 13-0. Huskies out in front, 3rd quarter. 1st and 10 from the 44, and here's Broussard with running room. Broussard, one man to beat, and he's tripped up, falling at the 30-yard line. The touchdown saved by Lilo Lang's arm.
Great block by Calvin Griggs on the corner there. It's difficult to sustain that block as long as it's going to take Broussard, who can run fast, to get there. The inside receiver, C.J. Davis, does a nice job as well. If only he had been able to get to the inside there, might have sprung Steve all the way. Good job of blocking on the corner.
A nice job defensively by Lilo Lang of the Washington Huskies to keep that from going all the way. 25-yard gain, 1st and 10 from the 30. Dawson with running room, crunched from the backside. Donald Jones made the hit for the Huskies, and he's had a couple of big weeks. Donald Jones, with 5 sacks this year coming into this game, played very well against Oregon State, continues today.
Looked like Gosson had some room to run there, but Donald Jones really closed up that hole. Gosson is on the move here. He thinks he can run the football. Let's watch the receiver on the inside. Griggs is wide open across the middle. Doesn't mean much, though, if the quarterback's running for his life. Initially, pretty good protection on that last play. Takes too long to get open.
2nd and 11 now from the 31-yard line. They go to Tim Stallworth for his first reception of the day, and he's out of bounds at the 23-yard line. Eugene Burkhalter made the tackle. That's Stallworth's first reception since Oregon week.
Not only did the Cougars get 8 yards there, but that's got to be kind of an inspirational lift as well. You know, we've heard the offense has been hamstrung by the absence of Stallworth. The fact that he caught a pass for plus yardage tackled, he's still in the game, has got to be a lift for the Cougars right now.
He comes out of the game for the time being. Cougars moving into their deepest penetration of Husky territory today. 9:37 to play, and the crowd comes to life. Broussard has a hole. Steve Broussard for the first down to the Huskies' 16-yard line. Dave Hoffman made the tackle for the University of Washington. They'll spot it at the 17, and the Cougar offense seems to be showing some signs of life.
Well, Cougars, I don't know if they intentionally did it or not. They a different slant with that play. Instead of trying to take it all the way outside, Broussard cut it back to the inside. Huskies overrunning a little bit right now.
First down for Washington State. They trail 13-0. Two receivers to the left. Broussard forward to the 11-yard line for a gain of 1. Actually to the 16-yard line, I beg your pardon. A gain of 1 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 9.
Dennis Brown leaves the game. Looks like he may have sustained a little bit of a... trying to get a fresh person in there. The Huskies, I think, have a lot more depth on defense than the Cougars do. They're able to bring a lot of different people in there and keep the tempo up.
The Huskies have Cook, Richardson, Harrison, and Donald Jones up front right now. Jaime Fields in that outside backer spot. Cougars looking to pass. Complete. It's to Calvin Greggs, and he's wrapped up and dropped at the 13-yard line. It'll be a gain of 3. Briscoe made the tackle, creating a 3rd and 6 situation.
Well, Calvin threw him every move that he knew, but Briscoe stood his ground as a good defensive back will, and took an angle and made a nice open field tackle. Important for the Cougars to get some points here.
The only opportunity that had to score today, a field goal attempt from Jason Hansen 55 yards away, which he pushed wide to the right. Broussard gets a block inside the 5 for a first down. First and goal, Cougars from the Husky 3-yard line.
So much of great offense is good tempo. The Cougars are now mixing their plays up. They're hitting inside, hitting outside, throwing high percentage passes. They're getting some pressure off of Gosson. Gosson's getting into a little bit of routine, and this Cougar offense is entirely resting on the shoulders right now. Steve Broussard. Nice catch, one-handed, good block on the outside.
Huskies goal line.
Burkhalter on the tackle, saved the touchdown.
Huskies goal line defense in. The Cougars go with Carr and Broussard in the backfield. This is Broussard, met immediately and stopped for a 2-yard loss. Back to the 5-yard line. Jaime Fields was there.
Big play. That's tough. That play takes too long to develop. It's a difficult one to run on the goal line when you're not dominating the front defensive line. Jaime Fields penetrates. Nowhere for Steve to go. Harrison there as well. Marty Harrison, big play player for the Huskies.
2nd and goal from the 5. They'll pass over the top, in and out of the hands of Rod Olson, the tight end.
Olson was open early. The ball took too long to get there. There was a seam. Gosson had to kind of loop the ball over the top of the Eugene Burkhalter. You can see that ball is in the air a long time. Burkhalter gets there and is able to be in a position to defend the pass. Nice job of defense. Unfortunate for the Cougars that Gosson couldn't have got the ball there just a little bit sooner.
3rd and goal now from the 5-yard line. Washington State looking for its first points of the day. They trail 13-0 to the Washington Huskies. Broussard inside, back to the original line of scrimmage, which was a 3-yard line. A fumble on the play. Believe they're going to say the ground caused that fumble.
Penalty flag down too, Keith. Far side. It'd either be a motion or an offside.
And the Husky defense has played very well on this series.
They've certainly rallied to the football.
Dead ball, False start on the offense. There is no play. Repeat third down. So the time will add 5 seconds to the clock. Add 5
now
seconds to the clock.
Here's a break, Keith. The penalty, evidently, the whistle went before the play, so they're going to get the ball brought back third down. The Cougars will have another shot at it. Unfortunate that the whistle went there for the Huskies, because they surely would have declined the penalty and forced the Cougars to go for a field goal.
Well, the penalty is going to back it up to the 10-yard line and create a third and goal situation from the 10.
Well, it may be a break. It does give you another chance for the touchdown. It gives you a little bit more room to work with the passing game.
Cougars with 2 tight ends. Griggs and Stallworth to the left of the formation, and Broussard is the lone back. Dawson takes the draw, rolls out, throws over the middle, in and out of the hands of Ron Olson. Ron Olson drops a touchdown pass, and the Cougars, or rather the Husky defense, avoids giving up the touchdown.
Rod Olson is so open that he can't believe it. Tried to use his body there instead of his hands.
And Jason Hansen will come on for Washington State to attempt the field goal. It will be a 27-yard effort out of the hold of Rob Myers. Cougars' deepest penetration in Husky territory of the day. The kick is good, and Washington State is on the scoreboard with 6:41 to play in the third period. The 27-yard field goal from Jason Hansen has ended the Cougars' dry spell against the Huskies.
The only beer
Individuals performing together, listening, arranging, building. At Northwest, our performance is helping you do business, getting you wherever you need to go on time, creating new ways to make things work for you. Because our job is helping you do yours.
Here's a situation with Brad Gosson, wide open Rod Olson in the end zone. He drops the football. I think he may have been remembering that last time he was hit. And here's Coach Price trying to rally the troops. Hey, guys, you got to hang in there.
That's after the field goal by Jason Hansen. The 27-yard effort would put the Cougars on the scoreboard. And there's Rod Olson getting words of encouragement from the Cougars head coach, who is experiencing his first Apple Cup game as a head coach, but not as a player or coach. He played at Washington State from 65 to 67 and then coached here in the late 60s and early 70s under Jim Sweeney and Warren Powers.
I'm sure he was reminding Olson that there's still a third of the game left. Not over by any means.
6:41 to play. Third period, Bino Bryant from his own 5-yard line. Bryant out to the 17, where he's met and dropped by a host of Cougar tacklers. Huskies will start 1st and 10 from their own 17. Kurt Lurcher made the tackle for Washington State special teams. Here's Kerry Conklin.
Great job of coverage by the Cougars there. The Huskies now having to deal with some negative field position. Kerry Conklin, the senior from Yakima, came into this game leading the Pac-10 in turnovers, interceptions, but he's been very sharp the past 3 football games.
Orlando McKay wide right, Riley to the top of your screen. Darius Turner and Lewis to the backs on 1st down. It's Turner across the middle out to the 27-yard line, very near a first down. Dan Grayson made the tackle for Washington State.
Huskies getting their fullback in the pass play again. Good play to call at this situation in the game. It's a safe pass. It's a short pass. No one's going to pick it off. You get a chance to give it in the hands of a running back who can do something with it. Nice call by the Husky coaching staff.
About a yard shy of the first down. It'll be 2nd and 1. 3 receivers wide to the right. Turner outside for the first down and more. Darius Turner out to the 34-yard line and a Husky first down.
I think Darius's presence it shows the strength of the Husky offense. They're not solely based on one back. They got 2. Darius Turner has made some big plays today. Here running for a first down. He's made 2 critical blocks and option plays. Good pass receiver as well.
Darius Turner, 6-foot redshirt freshman from Gardena, California, Warren High School. He had 7 votes in that Best of the West poll that the Long Beach Press-Telegram puts out each year.
Well, he's an outstanding fullback, and they're hard to find for the I formation.
Replacing James Compton, who went out with an ankle injury last week against Oregon State. Conklin passing over the head of intended receiver Andre Riley.
Roosevelt Noble was in the vicinity. He was in the vicinity. He did not have him defended. Had that ball been thrown a little bit better, it would have been a touchdown.
So what you're saying is Roosevelt blew a coverage?
Well, no, I think Andre just jocked him.
Okay. So he has to go back and pick up a piece of his uniform and start over.
That's right.
Okay.
If I were Roosevelt, I'd back off just a little bit.
They send Moton out to go over the top of Riley now, who would be at the bottom of your screen. Lewis the single setback. They're going to pass. Screen to Lewis. Savage makes the tackle. They're a yard shy of the first down.
Saving play by Savage. They had the Cougar front fooled except for Tony. Had he not chased that play down from behind, there was a lot of running room out to the left side there, Keith.
A 9-yard gain.
Pretty good kind of play to run when you get a defense that's really intent on putting pressure on the quarterback. Conklin is going to stop, set up. Once it clears Marlon Brown's hands, most of the coaches can breathe a sigh of relief and let Greg Lewis do the thing that he does best.
On 3rd and 1, over the top, Darius Turner for the first down. And Darius Turner is having a fine day for the University of Washington.
Cougars are claiming there was a fumble. The referees were not really there in a hurry.
There's a fight going on in there, and these are always interesting stats.
The referee asked, one of the referees went over and asked the other one if he saw what happened. I'm not sure the officials were in a position to see what happened here. The lack of a sign here shows that. Well, there is a fumble on the play. We'll take a look at the referees and see if they realize it. Sometimes you can't see that ball is right in the middle of the pile. I'm not sure the referees know that it's loose at all. Then it depends on who came up with it. Evidently, the Huskies did.
Darius Turner picked up the first down. 1st and 10 from the Husky 45, and he'll pass. Conklin feeling pressure, will run instead out to the 48-yard line. Tony Savage, the first one to get there.
Bill Ames threw a nice block on the corner there to allow Conklin to get outside. Mike Zimmer, Cougars defensive coordinator, said that the past couple weeks the Cougars sacks have diminished a little bit because teams have been rolling their quarterback out, trying to double team the outside pass rusher so they break contain and get that quarterback away from the pressure, just as the Huskies did that time.
It's the final home game for 18 Husky seniors, and look at this. Andre Riley has been held today, shut out as a receiver. Conklin wants to pass, plenty of time, going long, looking for Orlando McKay, and he overthrows him. Husky offensive line gave Conklin plenty of time to make the pass.
Cougar defensive linemen did a nice job of trying to get their hands in the air, and that may have forced Conklin to put the ball up with a little more air underneath it than he intended. Huskies have had no problem getting people open, but against pressure defense sometimes, if the pass is not absolutely perfect, it's not going to be completed.
correct myself, 14 seniors at Washington making their final appearance here today. 18 seniors for Washington State. Of course, both would like to continue their careers for one more game. The winner goes to the Freedom Bowl to face Indiana of the Big Ten. On third down, heavy pressure, and down goes Kerry Conklin. Anthony Pryor, from his strong safety position, made the sack.
Good pressure from the inside as well. Forced Conklin to turn right into Pryor. Pryor is listed as a corner. I think the Cougars are in a 5 defensive back position. He came more from a safety position. Get the ball tucked away, Kerry. Huskies can't afford a big turnover down here.
4th and 18 now from the 37 of Washington. Diggs standing back at his 28-yard line, and Channing Wiles is on to punt.
Huskies with 5 sacks, Cougars with 3.
Cougars nearly get it. They rough the kicker again. This time it's a 15-yard effort, and it'll be a first down. From a special team standpoint, Washington State has made some critical errors today.
It's unbelievable. Your defense is playing well. You've just held them to you sacked them. Your offense has generated points. They're moving the ball. Why risk this?
Anthony Pryor crashed into him.
It's a situation where the Cougars probably would have been better off just trying to return the football.
Automatic first down.
And so the Huskies have it. 1st and 10 from the Cougar 48-yard line via the penalty. And you'd think the Cougars are the most penalized team in the conference. Not true. Southern Cal is.
Real problem there. I'm just not sure that that was a wise thing to do, to go after the punter like that and risk what happened. Now the Huskies have got field position.
And an automatic first down, with a chance to add to their 13-3 lead. 2:44 to play, 3rd period at Husky Stadium in Seattle. Mix up in the backfield, and Lewis Bush drags Greg Lewis down.
Somewhat of a mix-up in the backfield there. Conklin was very upset with that last sack, and perhaps he's still a little bit disturbed. It'd be important for the Huskies to get him calmed down. Greg is saying, man, you got to hit it on the left hip there. You know, state of mind is so important in games like this, and the ebb and flow of momentum, the decisions you make for your team, what you try to do, what you don't try to do, play a big part in what eventuates in momentum.
Lewis gained 2 on the play. It's 2nd and 8 now from the 46 of Washington State. They'll pass. Conklin over the top to Aaron Pierce, and it's incomplete. Aaron Pierce, the tight end. Chris Moton provided coverage for Washington State. Pierce has caught just 1 ball this year, and that was for a touchdown.
Got a Cougar down. Looks like Roosevelt Noble. After a rocky start, the game has been hard-hitting and fairly injury-free.
Timeout on the field. We'll take a timeout as well with 1:57 to play, 3rd quarter. The Huskies in front of the Cougars, and this is Apple Cup 89.
Right here in Husky Stadium.
Who could ask for anything more?
Ask him if it has a 5-speed transmission like Isuzu.
Does it have a 5-speed transmission? Well, I'm going to check on that.
Ask him.
For him?
Or better mileage.
Does it?
Not exactly. No!
Ask him why it costs hundreds more than Isuzu.
Right now, you could save big bucks on the pickup during Isuzu's Take It to the Bank sale.
I've been seeing stars for some time now, but this week beats all. Liza Minnelli, Sylvester Stallone, Leah Thompson, and Christine Lahti. Magic Johnson, Muhammad Ali, Mike Tyson, Sugar Ray Leonard. Eurythmics, De La Soul, and Chunky 8. You'll be seeing stars all week, starting with Malcolm Jamal Warner, Courtney Cox, and Christine Lahti on the next Arsenio Hall Show.
Weeknights at 10 on Channel 13.
Back to Husky Stadium in Seattle. The Washington State pass defense has been miserable in its last 2 games, but today they've been much less miserable, if you will, only surrendering 104 yards.
They've definitely not been miserable. I think they've been very, very lucky. There have been receivers open deep several times, but Conklin's just not been able to get the ball. A couple balls have been off outstretched fingertips. One of the good things about pressure defense is that sometimes you force an offense into trying to throw the ball long. Here's an example. As you can see, Conklin, instead of the little dump passes we've seen, he's trying to throw the ball deep. He's got a receiver open. Pierce is open, but it would have been a difficult catch. There's a defender right there. The proximity of the defender forces the perfect pass.
Washington had 147 yards of total offense in the first half. They have 180 almost to the completion of the third quarter. Just 33 yards of total offense in this second half. Defense has played well for the Cougars.
Sure. I think one of the things the Huskies have got to do right now is remember what they did when they were moving the ball well. Getting the ball in the hands of Greg Lewis was a big part of that. We've not seen a great deal from him in the latter part of this quarter.
It'll be 3rd and 8 when play resumes after Roosevelt Noble left the field. Huskies ran for 2 yards on a play to Greg Lewis and then threw the incomplete pass to create the 3rd down. Turner and Lewis in the backfield. Conklin wants to pass. Hit as he throws. Pass is complete to Andre Riley. That is a great catch from Riley.
Great throw by Kerry Conklin. He was plastered right as he threw the football. And I think he showed his arm strength there. He threw from one side of the field all the way down to the sideline to the left side. Nice block by Lewis. Really took 2 defenders out of the way. Long enough for Conklin to complete the pass. Anthony Pryor on the stop.
And a 1st and 10.
That kind of pattern is going to set itself up when you continually throw the ball deep.
It's Riley's first reception of the day. On 1st down, it's Greg Lewis. Lewis to the 30-yard line. Moton made the tackle. Steve Pellord is no longer the number 2 passer, or rather number 2 total offense producer in Washington football history. Kerry Conklin is. He has just surpassed Steve Pellord.
Greg Lewis, 12 rushes for 70 yards. He got 23 right off the bat. Cougars have held him in check so far. I would think the Huskies would be featuring him just a little bit more, though. Run and pass.
2nd down. Lewis hit by Brown in the backfield and finally tackled by Lewis Bush. Broke the tackle and moved down to the 21-yard line.
Marlin was right there to make the play, but really broke out of an arm tackle. As a defensive coach, you'd like to have him get a shoulder on him or wrap him up.
30 seconds remaining in this, the 3rd quarter from Husky Stadium in Seattle. Washington leading Washington State 13-3. They had the ball 3rd and 4 from the Cougar 21-yard line. I formation with Turner, and this is Lewis. Lewis with a seam. He's into the end zone for the touchdown. Greg Lewis, 21 yards and a touchdown for the Washington Huskies.
The Huskies ran a pitch sweep right into the teeth of a blitz. The 12 blocks at the point of attack. Darius Turner making another key block on Chris Ocon. Lewis breaks the tackle, and the rest is history. When the Huskies are moving, Greg Lewis is handling the ball a lot.
McCallum on to add the extra point out of the hold of Kerry Conklin with 8 seconds to play in the 3rd period. The kick is good, and Washington has developed a 20-3 lead over the Washington State Cougars here at Husky Stadium. The 73,000 and change looking on, very happy, as is Don James.
Nice block by Turner on Moton. Good cut upfield. Savage overruns the play. Downing can't get him from behind. The rest is all speed and athletic ability.
Greg Lewis approaching the 100-yard mark today. 14 carries for 94 yards. The junior from Seattle's Ingram High School is on a roll, and so is the Husky offense now. Out in front by 17, 20-3.
Greg Lewis is the third leading rusher in the Pac-10. Came in the game averaging 98.5 yards per game. 7th in receiving, 2nd in all-purpose running, and 8th in scoring. Cougars felt coming in that Mike Zimmer said, hey, it's Greg Lewis is the man we've got to stop. Keith Gilbertson, the offensive line coach, says Greg Lewis is the guy who does the subtle things that beat you, not only running the football but catching it as well. I would say Darius Turner has done a remarkable job in blocking and adding to that offensive output so far.
Played very well today. Shambe right fair and Rich Swinton are deep to receive for the Washington State Cougars. John McCallum will kick off after the Lewis touchdown. Short kick. Swinton will come up and take it from his own 17. Rich Swinton dashing outside and brought down by Dana Hall. Mark DeGrosse in there as well for the Washington Husky special teams. And the Cougars will run the final play of this third period, starting at their own 29. And here's Aaron Garcia warming up once again. Well, basically, you're coming down to a one-quarter season now. Brad Gosson is at quarterback at this point. If you want to go to the Freedom Bowl, if you want to beat your cross-state rival, if you want to win 7 games in a season, you got to come up with some points in the fourth quarter if you're a Cougar player.
Gosson actually has played pretty well that last drive. You certainly couldn't fault him for not getting the touchdown. He put the ball right there in the end zone to a wide-open receiver.
Very true.
Just got to see if he can get back into the same rhythm he had earlier.
Broussard breaks a couple of tackles. He's out to the 45-yard line as the third period comes to an end at Husky Stadium in Seattle. The Washington Huskies have added to their lead out in front of their cross-state rivals of Washington State in Apple Cup 89.
Husky fans, whether you live in Westport, Wenatchee, Walla Walla, or anywhere in Washington, Pemco can save you money. Let Pemco tackle all your personal insurance needs, auto, home, and boat. Discover our fast, friendly service. Then you'll know why over 300,000 Washington residents insure with Pemco. And you can report a claim day or night, 7 days a week. The clock never runs out at Pemco. Put Pemco in your court. Call for a free rate quotation now.
You should have seen this place when we got it. But we really had our hearts set on it. So we took it one room at a time, made about 50 trips to Freddy's, and it really paid off. Thanks, Freddie.
It's worth a trip to Fred Meyer to save on Delta tools. They're all on sale, like the Delta Portable 10-inch table saw and the compound miter saw. And now's the time to save on Kincaid shower and tub doors. They'll give your bathroom a bright new look for a great price.
Tonight's game is brought to you by Pay and Pack, the home you want, the help you need. By Pemco Financial Center, we honor excellence. By Kuppenheimer Men's Clothier, America's #1 clothier for men. By Taco Bell's 59-cent value menu. And by your Toyota dealer and the 1990 Toyota Camry. Toyota, I love what you do for me.
A critical error by the special teams leads to a Husky touchdown.
The biggest penalty of the year so far for the Cougars. This cost the Cougars initially field position and momentum. Ultimately, this 7 points, well, 6 points by Greg Lewis. McCallum added to 7. Cougars trying to blitz. Huskies ran right into it for a touchdown.
On second and 4. Cougars going long to the tight end. Well sent. It's batted away by Dana Hall.
I would say, Keith, before anyone get too lackadaisical about the fourth quarter, the Cougars have scored the most amount of points in the fourth quarter this year, 102 points. So they still retain the ability to score, make big plays happen. Wellsant was open early there.
82-yard drive, which ate up 6 minutes and 33 seconds. And as Ken mentioned, the big play was the block, or the penalty on the punt opportunity. Tim Stallworth with the catch. Stallworth out to the 48-yard line before being driven down. Out of bounds at the 48. First down for the Cougars. Lilo Lang and Eric Briscoe drove him out of bounds.
Again, this is the Cougars' way of handling the blitz. Two outside receivers came across the middle. Inside receiver, Stallworth stepped up and then went to the flat. Exceptionally difficult for the inside defensive back to continue to cover that receiver and avoid all the people downfield to the outside. Nice job by Gosson. 2 steps and throw.
Fourth quarter just underway. Keith Chipman and Ken Woody at Husky Stadium in Seattle. Pleased to join us for Apple Cup 89. Huskies leading 20-3. Broussard wrapped up in the backfield, but spurts forward to the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play. Donald Jones up from his linebacker spot to make the stop.
John Cook was there as well, junior from Olympia High School. Huskies were in a little bit of disarray there trying to cover the motion man. It was not a pass play. Good tackle by Jones. Cook helps out. All good backs. It takes usually more than one tackler to bring a man down.
2nd and 10 now. Carr in motion out of the backfield. Broussard remains as a lone setback. And here's Broussard with plenty of running room. Here goes Steve Broussard inside the 40-yard line. Jim Clifford brought him down. Another Cougar first down.
Steve Broussard has exceptional sprinting ability. You put that in a dynamite football playing package and you've got trouble. Pretty good job of blocking on the outside by the receivers. The one difficult thing about that kind of play, though, is it takes a while for the running back to get out there near where the receivers are.
Steve Broussard fast approaching his 14th 100-yard game. He's carried 22 times for 97 yards now. Gosson wanting to pass, going long, looking for C.J. Davis. Touched, incomplete pass. Ball batted away. And Brad Gosson cannot believe it.
Nice throw by Gosson. It was right there. One thing about it, when you hang the ball up in the air against the Huskies, Burkhalter is able to cover a lot of territory. He's one of the better safeties in the conference. Ball was well thrown. The ball was right there. Burkhalter's hand came in when it might have knocked it out had he been able to get a hand on it. Can't throw a better pass than that.
C.J. Davis from Curtis High School in Tacoma, the intended receiver. 2nd down now and 10. Broussard with a big hole. Steve Broussard down to the 22-yard line. A gain of 17 for the Washington State Cougars. And a first down.
Huskies are getting caught in man-to-man coverage there, and then when that back goes in motion, an inside linebacker left with him, leaving the inside open. One linebacker is supposed to stop that draw. As you can see, there's someone coming down and block on him, the left tackle here, Husby. There's nobody there. Linebacker vacated, covering Carr, who went in motion. John Cook made a nice job of getting that play from behind.
Gosson wants to pass. Has blockers. Evades a couple of tacklers. Still on the move. Fumbles. And it's recovered by Washington State. Bob Garman fell on the football for Washington State.
We're not. You see the run fake to Broussard throws several Husky defenders. Jones keeps him contained. Cook has a shot at him.
Ball stripped away by Travis Richardson, and there's Bob Garman to fall on it.
And not by much. Gosson actually came back in on that ball.
Wow.
You saw Dave Hoffman drop back and cover a pass zone, and once Gosson was flush from the pocket, he came up to help out. Huskies are flying around on defense. Sacked the quarterback 6 times today. They had only 12 going into the Oregon State game all season.
2nd and 15 now. Broussard. Steve Broussard forward to the 22-yard line. Lilo Lang made the tackle. 4-yard gain on the play.
Broussard has 114 yards rushing, That's the 14th time he's gone over 100 yards. I believe that breaks the tie with Reuben Mays.
Holds another school record. Pac-10 leader in all-purpose rushing, averaging 161 yards per game.
This is really Steve's the best game against the Huskies ever. He was injured last year.
Cougars facing a 3rd and 11 situation. 2 tight ends in the game. Gosson batted away by Dana Hall. The intended receiver was Tim Stallworth. He wanted pass interference.
Stallworth was open early. The ball just took too long to get there. Nice move by Tim getting open on the post corner. Cougar fans are claiming there was some interference, but I don't think that was the case. You see, Stallworth is open earlier. The ball just takes too long to get there. Dana Hall on the play.
And so Washington State, with its back to the wall, trailing 20-3 and 11:40 to play in this football game, on 4th down, will have to go for it. Now, that may have been pass interference.
I've seen it go both ways. I would not have called it. He was going for the ball. He didn't really impede Stallworth's ability to go for it.
4th down, Cougars send 3 wide receivers to the right and Broussard in the backfield. Sack. Martin Harrison. Washington State was successful on its prior 4th down attempts. This time they are not. Martin Harrison has sacked Brad Gosson, the 7th quarterback sack today for the Washington Huskies.
Difficult situation for the Cougars. They really might have elected to go for 3 points there. There's still plenty of time to go. That would have brought them within 2 touchdowns. So we're going to have to score anyway.
11:33 to play. 4th quarter, Washington out in front 20-3, and we're back with more on Apple Cup 89.
Before you ever put anything in a Ford Ranger, it's already loaded with all kinds of standard features like a sporty 2.3-liter engine and anti-lock rear brakes. This Ranger also comes with power steering, AM/FM, and 2-tone paint. Yet it goes for a price that won't load you down. The Ford Ranger, the best-selling small pickup in Washington, Oregon, and Idaho. Get a load of it at your local Northwest Ford dealer.
Some guys grow up knowing appearances count in the game of life. They're born knowing women love a well-dressed man.
Nice suit, Cuffy.
And that if you know where to shop, you'll save money.
How do you do it, Kuppenheimer?
What can I tell you? Some things never change.
Kuppenheimer, America's #1 value clothier for men.
Keith Chipman and Ken Woody back at Husky Stadium in Seattle, where the 1989 Apple Cup game is drawing to a conclusion. 11:33 to play. Washington out in front 20-3, and they have it 1st and 10 from their own 26. Here's Greg Lewis out to the 28-yard line. Gain of 2 on the play. Lewis 15 carries for 96 yards now. Michael Wright made the stop for Washington State.
Well, in every game that Lewis has earned 100 yards, they've won this year.
Broussard going over the 100-yard mark rushing is the first surrendered by the Washington defense this year. They had not given up a 100-yard rushing effort to an individual this season. Conklin intercepted by Dan Grayson, and the Cougars have life once again in Husky territory.
Unusual play there. It looked like Conklin pumped, then definitely forced the ball into coverage. Lewis Bush was right there. Dan Grayson, Ledbetter over in the vicinity. Ball was deflected at the line of scrimmage by, looked like Randy Gray. That's a big play for the Cougars.
The defense picks off its second pass of the day. We'll see. Randy Gray coming in to deflect the pass, which was eventually intercepted.
Looked like Conklin was going to throw the ball deep till it was tipped.
Cougars 1st and 10 from the Husky 37-yard line. Broussard has some room. Broussard to the 37-yard line.
Keith, one thing that has got the Cougar offense going this quarter is their ability to make more than 4 yards on first down. Twice in a row they've run that draw for good yardage. It really helps get your quarterback in tempo too. He's allowed to hand the ball off and he doesn't have to make a decision. Put the pressure on the offensive line. Let them do something. Let Broussard do what he does best, run to daylight.
The ball at the 27-yard line after a gain of 10 by Broussard. Another Cougar first down. Broussard with 124 yards rushing, 24 carries. Dawson yet to throw a touchdown pass today. Here's Broussard, the workhorse, inside the 20 now for Washington State. Down to the 18-yard line.
Nice block by Paul Wolf, the center there, who was hospitalized getting his appendix out 3 weeks ago. Again, the Huskies are having a difficult time reacting to that motion and then the draw play coming in behind it.
At the Husky 19. The sense that Don James isn't comfortable even though his team leads by 17 points.
Still a long time left in this football game.
Brad Dawson trying to put the Cougars in the end zone for the first time today. Broussard spurts forward for the first down to the 15-yard line. Cougars have it 1st and 10 now from the Washington 15. Eugene Burkhalter made the hit, and total yards are almost... Look at that. Steve Broussard, 156 of the Cougars' 175 total yards.
Well, I would think that you try to get a genetic engineer to get about 11 Broussards. He is a great football player, no question, and he's doing it against a good football defense right now.
On first down. Broussard to the 11-yard line.
Cougars showing some patience right now. The Huskies are having a hard time reacting to the motion. They're leaving the middle open on the draw. Content to pound away. They've got to get a touchdown on this drive.
Second down, 6 yards to go for the Cougars. Or we'll have you sing like Don Meredith used to.
No.
Not very vocal kind of guy. Don't like music?
My mother's listening. I don't want her to suffer any more than she has.
2nd and 6 now. Dawson wants to pass. Over the middle. Touchdown, Rod Olson.
Same play that Rod Olson dropped earlier, Keith. He got a second chance. He's lucky. A lot of guys don't get a second chance.
11 yards out.
That shows a lot of class. You know, Rod Olson was the lowest guy in this football stadium about 20 minutes ago, and now he's got a chance to redeem himself, and he made the most of it.
Brad Gosson, an 11-yard touchdown pass to the tight end, Rod Olson.
And I'll tell you, that play is also set up by the fact that Steve Broussard has hurt the Huskies with a run. He made a fake. 3 Huskies went with him, allowed some separation there, a seam. You give Gosson time, he can pick you apart.
Olson's 3rd touchdown reception of the year. The Cougars back in it with 8:50 to play in this, the final period at Husky Stadium.
Looks like they're going to be forced to go for 2, or had they been able to get a field goal that last drive right now, it really, the decision would not be as difficult as it is for Mike Trice right now.
Ball on the 3-yard line. Broussard the lone back. Stallworth, Davis, and Griggs are the receivers. They all sprint to the left. Complete to C.J. Davis, and the 2-point conversion is successful, but a penalty flag is down.
Penalty flag's down. It's in the vicinity usually of someone who's lined up wrong or an offsides.
We'll await the word of the officiating crew headed by Patrick Flood, the referee today.
Illegal formation, 6 men on the line. Extra point is no good. They'll retry it after a 5-yard penalty.
Oh, that's a big break for the Cougars. The whistle stops the play as it starts. I'm certain Of course, you couldn't decline the play. It was a touchdown, so you're going to take it back.
Boy, how often have penalties by Washington State given the Huskies second life today and given the Cougars fits?
Mental mistake. Still 6 for 41, and every one of them have been very, very critical.
Price not the least bit pleased, and now they're going to kick. Jason Hansen on for Washington State. He has hit 81 straight point after touchdowns.
He's having to kick from the hash mark.
And it's blocked.
Hey, the Huskies can still score here.
Blocked by Allman, and he's driven out of bounds. The extra point attempt is blocked by Washington's Shane Palcoa. And Mike Price is having a discussion right now with one of the officials. And when we come back, we'll try to sort things out. The extra point attempt is no good with 8:50 to play. Final period. You're watching Apple Cup 89.
Right now, during Isuzu's Take It to the Bank sale, generous factory cash is helping people save big bucks that they can take straight to the bank.
Hi, I'd like to make a deposit. I love this bank. You never have to wait in line.
Right now, you could save big bucks on the Isuzu pickup during our Take It to the Bank sale.
Hi, dudes.
What's weird science all about? How about the ultimate fantasy girl?
Hi.
The ultimate fantasy girl.
What would you little maniacs like to do first?
The ultimate fantasy girl. She's all in the name of science. Weird Science. Tuesday at 8 on Channel 13.
They kick it from the right hash.
One of the things that Coach Price may have been upset with, the left tight end there definitely got pulled out.
Shane Palcoa blocked the kick. Lilo Lang picked it up, and we well remember his return against California for a 2-point after touchdown.
Good job by Myers of getting over there and heading him off at the pass. A new rule in football this year is that a defense can block a kick and score on the extra point. I think Coach Price may have been upset about the fact that he had moved the ball to the right hash for the 2-point try before the penalty. After the penalty, I'm sure when he decided to go for one, he wanted the ball back in the middle.
Huskies receiving team playing up, and they have to retreat. Eric Alozi is the receiver. He's out to the 17-yard line after the kick by Jason Hansen.
8 yards.
Dan Weber made the tackle for Washington State.
Well, it was a good decision to go for the 1 point once he got out of the 3-yard range, but still having to score a touchdown, 2 points, and a field goal to win at that point. Now they're down by 11. Going to have to score 2 touchdowns.
8:45 to play.
Still time now if the Cougars can stop the Huskies. Huskies, I'm sure, would like to get the ball to Davis and Lewis and let him run some clock off.
1st and 10 from the 17. It's Lewis. Mark Ledbetter, the first one there. The redshirt senior from Puyallup High School.
Mark Ledbetter on the stop.
Cougar defense has played very, very well since the initial part of this football game.
As has the Husky defense today.
Second down, 8 yards to go for the Huskies at their own 19.
190 yards of total offense thus far.
Well, if the outcome of the game is not enough to stimulate discussion in the offseason, a lot of the coaching decisions will fill some empty void during the long winter.
High formation now. Turner and Lewis, the backs. They give to Turner, and he's out across the 20. They'll mark it there. A gain of 1 on the play. Marlon Brown made the tackle, and the Huskies are doing the wise thing, consuming time.
Big decision right now for Don James. Do I throw the football? If so, what kind of play? If it's going to be to a wide receiver, it might be something like a hitch. If it's going to be one of the kind of drop-back ball control passes, look for it to be out of the I formation, either the tailback or the fullback.
Third down 7. They'll pass. Conklin over the middle. Incomplete. The intended receiver was Andre Riley, and a penalty flag is down.
Be questionable as to whether that ball was catchable or not.
Cougar defensive coordinator Mike Zimmer is on the field jawing with an official. Mark Ledbetter is not the least bit pleased, and the Huskies will have a first down.
There was definitely contact on the play, Keith. Didn't look like the ball was catchable, though.
Pass interference on the defense. Automatic first down.
Here it is again.
Well, we'll judge to see. Well, Don James once told me in a pregame warm-up before an Apple Cup, players should never put an official in a position to make a bad call. Now, whether that's a bad call or not, one thing is the ball was, I don't think, catchable.
First and 10 from the Husky 36. Here's Lewis out to the 40-yard line. A gain of 4 before Randy Gray dropped him. Gray from Danville, California. A redshirt senior playing his final regular season game.
Nice job by Lewis on that play. Cougars were right there, turned it back inside. Linebackers got blocked.
Second down, 5 yards to go for the Huskies.
Second and 5.
Across the Husky 40.
Craig Lewis, an accomplishment only equaled by Joe Steele back in 1978.
The Huskies have won every one of those games.
Lewis carries once again out to the 42 for a 2-yard gain. Lewis over the 100-yard mark. 18 carries for 105 yards today. Marlon Brown was there to make the first hit for Washington State.
Well, you look at the looks in the eyes of the Cougars right now. They're very frustrated. The clock is a big factor now. Greg Lewis is a big factor, too.
Washington State, a team which began the season 6-1, has lost 3 in a row. The Huskies have won 4 of their last 5, trying to make it 5 of their last 6. And the winner goes to Anaheim to play in the Freedom Bowl. Conklin passing. Incomplete. Andre Riley takes quite a pop from Lewis Bush.
Well, Lewis Bush flew out there. That's the kind of pass you would not expect an outside linebacker to get close to. Conklin put the ball up a little bit high. That's going to jeopardize your rib cage as far as the receiver is concerned. You better get down there, Andre. Lewis did a nice job of kind of holding up and not driving him into the turf. That's what I mean by using judgment. You know, had he gotten a little over-aggressive and thrown him down, it would have obviously been an intentional roughing.
John Diggs deep to receive for the Cougars. Channing Wiles to punt for the University of Washington. Diggs is back at his own 21-yard line. The Cougars do not rush the kick, and Wiles puts up a tremendous punt, which will bounce into the end zone. And the Cougars will start first and 10 from their own 20-yard line when we return to Husky Stadium for Apple Cup 89. Washington with an 11-point lead over their cross-state rival.
How about some horse? Bounce the ball, get it in the basket. All right. Swish it to the hoop. Look out. Oh. Dribble down the ball, the ball, the ball. H-O-R. Don't give me no R. No. Give me this R. Right here. Yeah, yeah. S-E. The only beer to drink down here is Rainier.
You'll find lots of interesting things in San Francisco, and quite possibly some of your money if you bank with C First, because their owners are here. But if you bank with Puget Sound Bank, well, it's a different story. Open a Puget Sound Bank Club checking account, for example, and we'll make a contribution to a fund to help fight pollution in the Sound. Puget Sound Bank, the only major independent commercial bank left around here.
Brad Gossin at quarterback for the Washington State Cougars with 5:46 to play. He has to lead them to the promised land right now if they're to have any chance of winning this football game. Gossin Going upstairs, hit as he threw it, and it's incomplete. Calvin Griggs dropped the football. There have been several drops today in this game by Washington State receivers.
Well, I think you can, in large part, credit that to a real physical secondary. The Huskies, ever since the Arizona State game, have really been flying around and been punishing tacklers. Cougars know that, and it looks like they're hearing footsteps a little bit. Cawson, nice job of stepping up, took a hit, put the ball right where it should be.
Wow.
Griggs just couldn't hang on. This is part
Harrison.
Harris puts a big hit on him. That's all the life of a quarterback. Not very glamorous at that stage.
2nd and 10 now. The quarterback was down. The referee said it was an incomplete pass. The play is ended, and now Bob Garman is getting a bit involved with Jim Clifford. They say Gosson was down on the 12-yard line. He's talking with Patrick Flood, the official, right now. He tried to throw the football, and I tend to think if they would have said it was a forward pass, it would have been grounded.
Well, it was not a wise move, whatever. An official might have determined that it was a fumble. Again, you don't want to put an official in a position to make a call that's going to hurt you. This is the play before, right off Greg's shoulder pads.
Don James checking that scoreboard clock. It says 5:13, and it is running. A loss of 8 on the play. It is 3rd and 18 now. Washington State backed up to its own 12-yard line. Here's the play once again. Cougars will call timeout.
That's Steve Brown, Dennis Brown. Literally crawled in on his hands and knees and got to Gosson. Some confusion down on the field now, and the Cougars are forced to call a timeout.
And the University of Washington fans are starting to get back in this game. Washington jumped out to a commanding stance with that opening interception. They went into the end zone on Eric Briscoe's touchdown. They've ridden that momentum since.
Great job by Dennis Brown. Huskies all over the Cougars there. And again, you know, it looked like he was throwing the ball, but an official looks from a wrong angle. It could look like a fumble. Inability to get yardage on first down there has really put the Cougars in a hole. I would say if it gets down to 4th down, they'd be hard-pressed to go for this situation, Keith.
Fewest yards Washington State has passed for all year. A lot to cheer about on the Husky sideline.
Broussard has really been the whole offense. Just marginal field position, a couple decisions you could argue have really kept that from being more of an impact factor.
Don James called the 1982 loss the most damaging defeat of his career at Washington. He said that the rivalry really began to gain more and more and more importance in the early 80s, and it has grown tremendously. The fifth-year seniors on the respective teams have each won 2 games, so bragging rights for them is involved. You also have the Freedom Bowl, which is involved.
Huge play here.
3rd down and 18 for the Cougars. They give to Broussard, and he stopped at the 15-yard line. Well short of the first down. Jim Clifford made the tackle, having a big day for the Huskies.
Not a bad idea for the play. Clifford really came off a block to make that tackle.
4th and 15 for the Cougars.
Cougars are going
15, and they're going to go for it. You don't make it here, you concede.
It's over. Shows a lot of faith in your offense and your quarterback.
Complete.
No first down.
But short of the first down.
Looked like Gosson was motioning him across the field. Maybe you said, hey, make sure you're getting enough depth for the first down. Certainly could have been there.
A tremendous effort by the Husky defense today, holding Washington State's passing attack to minimums, and Mike Price has never tasted victory against a Washington Husky varsity team.
Well, the one thing, that completion did move him a little bit away from the goal line. Now, Griggs, this is the same pass that Griggs had dropped before. Now, having to go in front of Hoffman there really cost him the yardage necessary for the first down. Had he perhaps tried to go around behind him, he might have been at first down depth. Tough break for the Cougars.
Darius Turner running hard inside the 20-yard line to the 19 as the Huskies look for insurance. Clock running with 4 minutes to play. Randy Hart telling his linebackers and defensive linemen to keep focused. Brad Gosson. This will be a very disappointing trip back to Eastern Washington for he and the rest of his Cougar teammates.
Husky defense really maintained their intensity throughout. There was one letdown on the one touchdown drive. By and large, they've been where they've had to be and not given up the big plays that have made the Cougar offense successful so far this year.
Second down, Lewis to the 18-yard line. Kirk Westerfield made the tackle. Washington State suited up 112 players today. Washington 114 for the 82nd playing of the Apple Cup. The Cougars will use a timeout. Washington well within John McCallum's field goal range. We'll be back to Husky Stadium in Seattle for the conclusion of Apple Cup 89 in just a moment. This is Apple Cup 89.
Even non-members save big at the Home Club. November 1st, a comparison of the Home Club's non-member prices with those at Ernst reveals big savings at the Home Club. Example, Ernst sells the Black & Decker Workmate for $79.97. That's over $27 more than Home Club's non-member price. And Home Club members save even more. Yes, the list goes on because at the Home Club, you save on everything, every day.
U.S. West Communications has a question for every small business. When you have a customer on the line, who's to say you aren't missing a bigger one? Call us about adding another business phone line. U.S. West, making the most of your time.
Don James Washington Huskies appear bound for the 1989 Freedom Bowl game in Anaheim, California to meet the Indiana Hoosiers of the Big Ten Conference. The formalities will take place next weekend when the formal invitation is offered and likely accepted by Mike Lude, the athletic director at Washington, and that's why the Huskies are going. They have limited Washington State to fewer yards today and certainly to fewer points. Third down. Darius Turner very near a first down.
Interesting that in a critical short yardage play there, they go to Turner. He's been a big factor. Certainly not to the degree Greg Lewis, but just outstanding performance today, Keith. Huskies definitely have got two backs who can hurt you.
Ledbetter made the tackle. Don James with a hint of a smile. And Husky fans in full strength today supporting their Huskies will likely make the trip to the Freedom Bowl.
3 minutes, 21 seconds remaining in the game.
Promotional consideration provided by Continental, with the only service to Tokyo designed to help business travelers avoid jet lag. Continental, working to be your choice to Tokyo.
Washington defeated Colorado in the Freedom Bowl in 1985. It was a big day for Chris Chandler as a sophomore. He gained most valuable player honors in that game. Washington State Ken has played itself out of a bowl game this year. They were 6-1. They were being looked at by people like the Citrus. They were at one time on the Orange Bowl list early in the season. They had the Freedom Bowl that wanted them very badly. The Holiday Bowl was interested, but they lost their last 4 games.
Well, I think they're going to look long and hard at the films and look to themselves what happened. Maybe at one point they got a little bit cocky. You know, I wanted to go to a major bowl as opposed to any bowl. No Cougar team has ever gone to back-to-back bowls. That would have been a phenomenal achievement. Today, it's just a case, I think they've beaten themselves, really.
Don James 10-4 in his 14 prior meetings with the Cougars. He would be 11-4 after this visit. And Mike Price was attempting to become the first Cougar coach since Jim Sweeney to win his initial Apple Cup game. Well, that's not going to happen. Kerry Conklin to Lewis. Wrapped up by Downing and brought down. Randy Gray there as well. Greg Lewis, 20 carries for 106 yards today, over the 100-yard mark. And the Huskies have a 1,000-yard back, a 1,000-yard receiver, and a 2,000-yard passer for the first time in school history.
They did a real nice job adapting their offensive philosophy in the offseason through spring football. It's been evident today. A lot of versatility. They've got the job done.
2:43 to play, clock running. Lewis inside the 15 on a second down play.
One thing that would be unfortunate for Cougar fans is to kind of dismiss the whole season. They really accomplished a great deal. Mike Price in his first year here, after a very emotional coaching change, took a team, lost its quarterback, lost a lot of other good defensive players in their secondary, and put together really a team that played hard, and with the exception of really, I think, 1.5 games, never was really out of any football game.
And credit the Washington Huskies, who after winning their first 2 games dropped 3 in a row and bounced back to win 4 of their last 5. It will be 5 of their last 6. At one time there was no hope of a bowl game, but the Huskies and Don James coaching have put them in one and starting a new streak.
Well, if you had asked the newspaper and media people, the Huskies were dead and buried. They came back. They won a couple close games in the latter stages of the football game. Showed a great deal of character and confidence, and I think that character and confidence has been reflected today.
That's Orlando McKay being carried off. The dejection of the Washington State sideline. The realization settling in that they will be 6-5 instead of 7-4. The Huskies will achieve that honor and visit Anaheim and all the spoils that go with it. And the biggest spoil that might go with it is the recruiting ground that is there. The entire Husky coaching staff will be in the Southern California area during the holiday season with an excellent opportunity to recruit. Lewis inside the 10. He's a couple of yards shy of the first down as the clock continues to roll and the people begin to file out of Husky Stadium.
Well, the one thing about going to a bowl game in the Southern California area is it's an opportunity for you to showcase your team, and you're going to get a lot of media attention. People will read about the Huskies, see them on television. It gives you a great chance to get after those top recruiting prospects in the California area. I think in the state it helps you a great deal, too, because Huskies never want to be in a position where they feel that they're kind of backpedaling from the Cougar pressure, and in this case their position has more or less been solidified for the time being.
Kerry Conklin has overcome a great deal of adversity this year. Lewis, the ball carrier, that guy has helped him a great deal as Washington has mounted a tremendous surge in the second half of this season. The Freedom Bowl will be played on Saturday, the 30th of December in Anaheim. The Huskies will receive a $500,000 paycheck for being the representative from the West Coast. The game will be seen on NBC television. It's one of 4 bowl games on that date. The John Hancock Sun Bowl, the Peach, and the Mazda Gator Bowl, the other 3. They're shy of the first down, and Washington State will take over. 1st and 10 from its own 8-yard line, and you must commend Don James for the class shown there, not punching it into the end zone to run up the score when the game was decided.
Well, I think they were definitely trying to make the first down, but certainly not going to risk a turnover.
Apple Cup 89. Its executive producer is Dan Jensen. Today's game produced by Steve Woodruff. Our director, Doug Wetz. Associate producer, Barbara Caldwell.
Aaron Garcia in the game.
Garcia passing. It's complete. At C.J. Davis. Technical director today, Mark Kazi. Also like to thank our spotter today, Steve Weholt, and our statisticians, Mike Medvin and Jan Williams. And our thanks to the rest of the crew who made today's telecast possible, and those throughout the season on Cougar and Husky Football 89 and today's Apple Cup.
Aaron Garcia, the number 2 passer, number 2 rated passer in the Pac-10 Conference. I'm sure that he's looking forward to the battle for the starting position with Brad Gosson this spring.
Olson out of bounds with 1:03 to play. A couple of yards shy of the first down. He's not smiling outwardly, but inside, you know, Don James has to be one happy fellow. There'll be some celebrating on that Husky sideline and dressing room tonight.
But you know, the one thing that really adds to the emotional part of a rival game is that for the seniors, it's your last game. It's your last game for your school. And when you don't win it, it's an even double blow.
Stallworth to midfield.
Clock will stop while they move the chains.
The 1989 Apple Cup is a copyrighted presentation of Kelly Television, and any rebroadcast, duplication, or other use of this broadcast without the expressed written consent of Kelly Television is prohibited. 56 seconds remaining. The Washington Huskies leading 20-9. They took Washington State's first offensive play and turned it into 6 points as Eric Briscoe intercepted the pass and returned it for a touchdown.
Garcia was hurt on the last play, and they stopped the game for him, so he's got to go out, so Gosson will come back in. The Cougars had just moved 45 yards in 10 seconds. Here's the play. Someone has rolled, Harrison has rolled into him after the throw. It's always a dangerous situation for the knees.
They run the ball, it's Broussard, who's out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Broussard, with a gain of 9 on the play, now has 152 yards rushing on 29 carries. He is battling Ricky Irvins of Southern California for the Pac-10 rushing title this year, so one would think that's the reason Mike Price has him in the ball game when it's all but decided.
Well, he's the lone senior in that group out there, along with Stallworth, and I think they're just trying to let the seniors get another shot at him.
Paul Wolf out there, Doug Wellsand as well. Penalty flag. Gosson bumped by Jaime Fields, who's played tremendously today for the Huskies. There's a penalty flag.
That was some hit, too. You know, the Huskies definitely are not letting up on the Cougars. That was a big-time hit. Jaime Fields is the second fastest Husky defender.
Let's see the hit once again by Jaime Fields on Aaron Garcia.
First, Garcia's not going to go sliding down like the pros do. Good tackle.
Previous spot, repeat second down.
Cougars flagged for a holding penalty. Their demise today credited to penalties and basically a roughing the kicker call, which allowed Washington to march down the field. And
as I said, I think they beat themselves, but I'd give a great deal of credit to the Husky defense, and in particular their linebackers. Their linebackers have been all over the field, kept the big play from really happening. Cougars really only had one real good drive.
It was nearly intercepted by
number 53, James Clifford.
We talk about the linebackers. Marty Harrison, Hoffman, Clifford, Jaime Fields have all played outstandingly today.
Well, you see Clifford 22 yards downfield here, right there as the ball gets to the wide receiver. That's the job. You know, they cover the run well. Here he is. Needs probably to work on a few more ball drills, but that's the mark of a great linebacker. He's forcing on the run, and he's dropping back and helping on the pass. I think the Huskies have a lot to look forward to in their young defense.
A lot of guys coming back. Doug Wellsand refuses to go down and is finally driven out of bounds. The clock continues to run as the Washington Huskies have won the 82nd meeting between Washington and Washington State. The cross-state rivalry goes to the men in purple and gold. Mike Price and his Washington State Cougars finished the season 6-5. The Washington Huskies finish at 7-4, 5-3 in Pacific 10 Conference play, and they are bound for the 1989 Freedom Bowl game in Anaheim, California, to take on the Indiana Hoosiers.
Well, Coach James got a big hug from his daughter, and it's really nice to see the players shake hands and say a few words after a game like this. You know, we make a big deal of the emotion and the hatred and all those things that go into a rival game, but it is a game. These kids are students. They're representing their school. Once the game is over, life goes on.
Coach James and Coach Price both request for the safety of players and fans that everyone remain off of the
Mike
field.
Price says a smile on his face. The Huskies generate 259 yards of total offense today. Very balanced work. 136 of those on the ground, 123 passing. The Cougars, 255 yards total offense, 58 of those in the first half.
Real frustrating game for Cougar fans. You've got a great offense. It's explosive, and it's just like wet gunpowder. It fizzled, never really got going. Steve Broussard was a dynamo, carried the motion all the way. Really looks right now like the students are threatening to tear down the goalposts.
Well, the student newspaper at the University of Washington suggested that if the Huskies beat Washington State, they should go on the field and tear down the goalposts. It's a huge victory. Well, the security was prepared here today, and they tried to seal this thing off like West Berlin at one point, but the students have broken through that security. And they're being reminded not to tear those things down.
A woman was almost killed in a game, Ivy League game. The goalpost came down. She was standing off to the side watching it, and it hit her in the skull, fractured her skull. Really, everyone makes a big deal about it, but it is very dangerous. Goalposts are steel, and they're better off just heading to their favorite restaurant and beginning the post-game celebration.
We're awaiting an opportunity to visit with Washington head coach Don James. He's busy getting his players in the dressing room right now, and we'll be anxious to get a comment or two from the University of Washington's head coach. Huskies finished 5-3 in Pac-10 play. The Cougars 3-5, and a most disappointing end to their 1989 campaign, losing their final 4 games. But for the Huskies, what a rally. They were 2-3 at one point. They finished the season with a 7-4 record, winning 5 of their last 6 games.
Washington is a young team. Only 20 of their top 44 players are upperclassmen.
Everyone remain off of the field.
I would say Husky fans have got a lot to look forward to next year. The Cougar fans got the nucleus of a good football team to look forward to, but there will be some rebuilding, particularly in the defensive line and the linebacker situation.
I don't think we're going to have an opportunity to talk with Coach James. He made his way into the tunnel and is on his way to the dressing room. Huskies defeat the Washington State Cougars 20-9, the final score at Husky Stadium in Seattle. Ken Woody and I will be back with a final comment from Husky Stadium in just a moment.
Much has changed about the game. Today, the best in the business fly. And the airline that takes over 300 college and pro teams to their chosen field is United. Come fly the friendly skies.